Hey, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, but go ahead, James. Hey, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, but go ahead, James.
Peace, family. Peace, family. This is Jamie from Sankofa 180 Degrees. Hey, welcome to another episode, right? Hey, listen, man. We got a new bro. We got some brothers on the panel, man. I just wanted to introduce, man. But first, I wanted to just remind everybody that on the first Sunday of every month, we do the children's book read. I'm telling you, family, it's really, really important, man. Listen, I even got some more information on what they're doing here in Florida now. And excuse me, I just got some more information on what they're doing in Florida now, right? And this is where I'm at. I'm in Florida, right? And so, and I'm sure that they're doing it in other states. But what I'm saying, family, is this, man. They're starting to say that slavery benefited the Africans, right? It gave them skills. You know what I mean? This is what they're trying to. This is what they're teaching here. This is how they're changing the history, King. And this is what I'm saying is, family. This is what they're doing. They're changing the history, and we gotta do something about it, man. They're doing it. They're doing it right in our face. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, how important it is for us to keep that history, the right, true history, and keep it going, man, the right way, man. Right? We got it's so important, right? Because they're doing it in our face. And if enough of us die off, and they keep pushing this the way they're trying to push it, pretty soon the slavery history will be lost too, just like Kemetic history has been lost, right? And then you'll be sitting back trying to find this history, the slave history, right? So this is how this goes, man. Time after time, as time progresses, this history gets older and older, just like Kemetic history did the same thing. It got so old that we forgot about it. And then they was able to sweep it up under the rug because so all the people that knew about it firsthand died off, right? Right. So I'm just saying, man, like it's really important for us to push this history, man, because you see what they're doing. They're changing it in our face. They're changing real history, man. Not, and so I'm just saying, man, hey, it's up to us, man. It's up to us. It's our job now. It's up to us because we ain't got no choice, King. Because if our kids raise their kids to to and teaching them that, oh no, it's the slavery that when they had the slaves, no, it wasn't they wasn't beheading them and double castrating them and they wasn't doing none of that stuff. No, they were teaching them skills. They civilized. You know what I mean? This is what they're doing in our face, man. And so this is our job, man, to push this history. I'm just saying, man, I got a clip on it, man. I'll show it after we're done. All right. But I'm just saying, family, we gotta push history. Anyway, welcome again to Sankofa 180 Degrees, family. Hey, Unc, you want to talk about it, man?
Hey, man, I just want to welcome Gerald, man. Man, I'm feeling the vibe already, man. Hey, let's let him finish doing his thing, and I'll jump on later. So go ahead and finish your little demo, Gerald, man, because that's impressive, man. You've been to Kemet, man.
Yeah, that's right. So go ahead, start from start from where we can uh
Okay,
get a
just
good
from the basic question of how I got into it, or
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay,
How did it begin to you? How did it begin for you, King?
my beginning. I'm a regular kid that grew up in America, down south in the fourth largest city in America, Houston, Texas. Brought up during the regular curriculum, just like anybody else. Knew about Jesse.
No, this is this meeting that
Jesse
Big Jamie
Owens.
has.
Mute your mic, Jennifer. Mute your mic, Jennifer. Okay, go ahead, Gerald.
Okay. Yeah, I learned about Jesse Owens and Martin Luther King, in the basics. Graduated from high school in 1989, had been brought up as a Christian and whatnot, and ended up in the military. When I was in the military, I'm fearing my death. I'm in the military, so I'm looking at what's gonna happen. I've been brought up as a Christian, but I hadn't been living the Christian values. While overseas, I encountered a brother, some natives that was a part of the Islamic faith. And I boasted that you going to hell because you believe in Allah. That's some fake BS. You going to hell. And the brother threw back at me, no, you going to hell because you believe in Jesus. That's fake. Me being young, I knew one of us was wrong at that time. So I was confused. The war ended. I ended up surviving. But at that time, I know I needed to know. In my being in the military, I used to be in planes. So I had a chance to go to Egypt. I had a chance to go back to Kemet. When I went back to Kemet, me coming from the understanding Egypt was the bad people. They had enslaved the Jews and this, that, and the other. So I didn't have no interest in no Egypt, just like anybody else. So when I went there, I'm with white people. And the natives there was like, welcome home, welcome home. And I'm green. I don't know what the hell they talking about. And I'm like, y'all trying to trick me or something? I don't know, y'all. I'm with them. I'm hollering, I'm with these white boys. I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to give me special privileges and stuff. Come eat at the front of the line. Welcome home. And this is throwing me. I'm scared. Like they finna try to do something to me. This is some kind of scam. So I'm really locked into no, I'm American and something going on. And these people, y'all don't know me. What's the game? Y'all keep talking about I'm home. Y'all don't know me. End up seeing some of the I go to Cairo, see some of the things in Cairo, see some of the replicas and our culture. This maybe a year after that, I go back to California. And when I go back to California, I see a tape of a dude named Ashra Kwesi. And Ashra Kwesi is on this tape, and he's in Kemet. And he telling about he can take people there. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, this guy is telling the truth because I've been there, I've seen these things. And then a year after that, I'm out of the military and I go back to Houston. So when I come back home, I'm thinking I'm coming back home to tell my family and relatives, hey, this is new information about our history. They've been lying about us and we from Kemet and we African. And, my family and my friends say, you the devil. And they ostracize me. You done got brainwashed. What the hell's wrong with you? And I start I go on my search. I find about Dr. Clark. I find about Dr. Ben. I find about Wade Nobles. I find about all the glorious ancestors. And I start to get information from Anthony Browdy. And I'm trying to show them with books and show them with facts. And the more facts and more evidence and information I get, the more I'm getting tuned out. I go through my barbershop phase with arguing with people in the barbershops and figure out y'all don't know what y'all, give me y'all preachers, because y'all just, y'all the listeners. I need the preachers in here. I get to battling them, going back and forth, start joining other organizations. I find out about ASCAC. The internet starts to come about and I start to try to build with other groups on the internet. And just in my evolution, I realized as I built my libraries, built my information up, only give it to people that's looking for the information. Don't go out trying to just put it on anybody, because if they don't want it, you're most likely going to turn them off. So I figured that out through experience, and just with, build with brothers and sisters of like minds. I saw a post in one of the groups that I'm in that was talking about this class today. And I said, okay, I'm hoping that these brothers or sisters are really into the building, into dealing into the knowledge of self. And I took a chance and I came on. I was greeted by you and the other brothers on this forum that's holding this today. And I feel very good about what y'all have already set up and organized, and the contributions that I should be able to bring to this platform. That's kind of basically it. Anything else, you can kind of ask me questions or whatnot. I don't too much brag, but I'm heavy too. I study. I want to make sure that I pass down the wisdom that the ancestors that's got that tradition that keep passing down the wisdom. Sankofa, go back and retrieve, go get it. I'm about that. I'm really about that. So I'm happy to be amongst you brothers and sisters, and to go on this build and show, inspire others that this is what it's about. This is the root. This is the hard work that it takes, and then we're able to present whatever we have to the general public, and have them, basically accept it, because we're dealing with truth. We're dealing with information. We're dealing with facts. At least that's where I come from. Dealing with the proof, the evidence, not just talk. So with that, Black Power, Black Love. Again, my name is Brother Gerald from Houston, Texas, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be amongst you.
Hey, no doubt. That's laid out right there, man. Well, welcome, dude. We put that work in too, man. We like to remind people that I'm not a scholar. Jamie's not a scholar. But we'll put some scholarship work on your ass, right? And so welcome, King. And I really appreciate you sharing. And big ups to you. And my wife Carrie is Carrie. She's down there. And Jennifer, welcome to the panel. Jennifer been traveling for a minute, so she's been absent. And but she's a tough cookie too. So, and then we got Eric on, man. And where did Prince leave?
Yeah, look like he might have clicked off.
Yeah, he got issues. But either
Yeah.
way, he working this shit out.
Right.
And then we got King Eric over there, man. King Eric is seasoned, man. He ain't about no bullshit, So we're gonna keep it copacetic, man. And remember, before we get off, man, we'll do this little after party thing, man, and we'll change names, and we make sure we hook up so we can hook up on Messenger and link up during the week if necessary. All right.
No problem.
All right. Eric, you want to say something? Eric might be getting his fish and chicken ready.
Hey,
Yeah,
peace to everybody. Peace. I'm glad everybody is here. And that was powerful, King. I look forward to I would look forward to building with you, man. And for sure, man. It feel good, man. When I seen you come across, I was like, yeah, let me let this brother in, man. So yeah. So look, fam, we're gonna jump right in, man. I got like about 41, 42 slides, man. This is more than I usually do, but I'm gonna go.
Let Eric share something real quick if you want to share something off of what Gerald said, or whatever you want to share, Eric.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, first and foremost, Gerald, welcome, brother, and thanks for sharing, man. Impactful introduction, definitely.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. So like everybody else, I'm here to work. I'm here to put in the work and study, learn, share, and empower. That's what we're here to do. Empower each other. Yeah.
Sweet. I
So
just want to say one thing, Jamie, real quick.
Yeah.
So we got plenty of casts that we did on the previous, and you can go to Sankofa, Buck 80 Degrees on YouTube live channel, and you can also go to Sankofa 180 Degrees on the Facebook channel, and I'll send you the when we link up, Gerald. I'll send you last week's, and then you can link up through the rest of them from now. And this one, I'll send you this one too.
Okay, appreciate you.
Carrie, you wanted to say something before we get jump started? And Jennifer, you want to say something?
I'm looking forward to this, and welcome, Gerald. Glad you're here, and I
Thank you.
appreciated you sharing.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
What's up, Jen?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing
Gerald,
good.
I caught the tail end of what you were talking about, but welcome and sound pretty deep. I'd like to go into it a little bit more.
No problem. Thank you. Honor the pleasure to meet you.
Get it, Jamie.
All right, family. So listen, man. So this is nothing extensive, but it's just a little, it's just something I just something to give you guys to do a little some research on, family, right? And panel, I just want y'all to know, this is mostly, this for the viewers, man, YouTube viewers, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you brothers already know all this information, man. And this information is comprised of from pyramid texts, Book of the Dead, coffin text. So we got we got some information. I got information out of all of those. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to do was clear up the misconception of how the misconception of us having many gods, Kemet being made up of, they worship many gods, right? And so I just want to clear up that misconception, man, because that's one of the first things that you hear, anybody from the Abrahamic faith. The first thing they say, well, y'all, they worship many gods, they had all these guys. Well, so, I just wanted to make it clear that, in the Meta Nature, man, there was no word for God. Everybody has to know that. There was no word for God. All right. They use nature. And then from nature, they got nature, or vice versa.
Let me just jump in real quick. Everybody mute your mic and use etiquette when you want to speak, please.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do was just make sure that we get on track with this, man, because ancient Kemet, man, they never worship gods. Okay. Now they revered nature. They worship nature. And there's nothing wrong with worshiping nature, man. Just look up the word worship. All right. So what we're gonna get to, man, is the ancient Kemites believed that there was a time when nothing had existed, when the sky had not yet come into being. The earth had not yet come into being. The natures had not yet been born. The death had not yet come into being, as Pyramid Text 1466 has stated. For the Kemites, creation had essentially an act creation was essentially an act of generation, and the generative principle was represented by the yearly flooding of the Nile River, and its water seemed like the primeval waters as they left in the wake mounds of fertile black soil. Out of their primeval waters rose the Neter Atum, source of all generated being, sitting on a primeval mound that rose above the chaotic waters, or was left behind in its wake. Atum created out of himself the deity Shu and Tefnut. The story is illustrated in Pyramid Text 600. All right. Atum Keper. You were high on the height. You rose up on the being stone in the mansion of the being bird, in on, and spat out Shu. You spit out Tefnut, and you set your arms about them as the arms of a Ka symbol, that your essence might be in them. O you great Pasjet, Enid, which is on, namely is on, namely Atum, Shu, Tefnut, Geb, Nut, Nut, Asar, Aset, Set, and Nephthys. O children of Atum, attend his heart to his child in his name of 9 bowls. Let him be turned back from you toward Atum. For the ancient Commissions, each day was in fact a renewal and repetition of the creation. Just as the sun represented by Ra Atum on his solar bark traveled across the sky to rise and set and begin to cycle again. So
Hey, Jamie,
to
raise that up a little bit so we can see it.
I can't, King. That's it. That's locked in.
My bad.
All right. So to the Commissions had the assurance that the created order and the life and sustenance of their world were eternal and ongoing. A second major creation myth originated at the city of Kamut, otherwise known to the Greeks as Hermopolis. This was the city of the Neter Jehuti, patron of scribe and writing, and associated with the moon. This creation story claimed to be the oldest of all. Hermopolis claimed to be the site of the original primeval mound that had risen from the waters, just as did Heliopolis. But in this tradition, there were 8 Neters, the Agdad. This Agdad, or group of 8 Neters, 4 couples of male and female Neters, seem to represent elements of the chaotic universe prior to creation. So did y'all hear that? So it said it seems to represent elements of the chaotic universe prior to creation, King. That's key, right? The males were depicted as having heads of frogs, and the females the heads of serpents. The names of the Neters of this Agdad are listed in various texts. Nun and Nunet, who represent primordial abyss. Amen and Amenet, who represent the hidden power. Ha-Het, who represents infinity, and Kaket, names that represent darkness. Pyramid Text 301 names 2 of the pairs. All right. You offered cake belongs to you, Nonet, who protects the Neters, who guards the Neters with your shadows. Your offering cake belongs to you, Amenet, who protects the Neters, who guards the Neters with your shadows. Coffin text spell. Hey, listen, man, let me tell y'all a little something, man, about this here, right? Coffin text spell, right? Now, listen, man, when I told the brother, my brother, this little side note, right? And look,
Here
now,
you go.
I don't care. Hey, listen, y'all got to know this, right? So I told the brother to go get this book, right? This is when he first, when we first started, he first got on, right? Hey, I told the brother to go get the coffin text. So the brother called me, right? Hey, listen, man, it was the funniest thing, man. The brother called me.
The book of the dead. Oh, was it the coffin text?
It was the coffin text, I think, because listen, because I think, yeah, because which one was it? Was it the Book of the Dead?
Yeah, it was the book of the dead, but I ended up getting the coffin text too.
No, because it's. But anyway, the brothers. the brother, he's seen the word spell on the book. He's seen the word spells on the book. And hey, it scared the shit out of my homeboy, man. Cause look, he called me. He said, hey man, you know that book got spells in it, man. hey, hey, listen. Hey, listen, man, that was the funniest thing, man. I fell out, man. That was the funniest thing, man. He said, and then he wasn't even done though. He said, listen, man. He said, I ain't gonna be able to get that book, man, because I ain't bringing that shit in my house, man. Hey, listen, I fell out, man. That was the funniest shit. But look here, man. He ended up getting the book, man. But that's just a little side note, man. The brother, hey. He was serious as cancer though, man. Hey, he wasn't bringing that book in his house, King. It wasn't gonna happen. He got spells in it, man. Hey, look, man, that was funny, man. Anyway, hey, I just wanted that just reminded me of that, man. But that's coffin text spell 76 names 4 pair and connects the Agda with some of the Enid, right? And I'm gonna show y'all the Enid, right after this. OU 8 chaos netchers, keepers of the chambers of the sky, whom Shu made from the efflux of his limbs, who bound together the ladder of Atum El, Amshu, whom Atum created, from whom Ra came to be. I was not fashioned in the womb. I was not bound together in the egg. I was not conceived. But my father Atum spat me out together with my counterpart Tefnut. The being of Ra was that from which Atum came to be as Ha, chaos, Nun, the watery abyss, Kek, darkness, and Tenum. Now this gloom substituted for Amun, Amen in this verse. So what this means, right? And you see the name Tenum right there. I'm gonna show y'all who Tenum is, but they substituted Tenum. I mean Amen for Tenum, right? Because Amen is supposed to be in this lineup, but it's showing I'll explain it to you as I'll explain it to you now. It's this is showing the creation of life, right? And it's kind of like the ingredients, right? So what it's saying is Tefnut, the being of Ra, was that from which Atum came to be as Ha, chaos. So you needed chaos. Nun, you needed moisture, water. That's being Nun. And Kek, you needed darkness. So you needed, everything comes, all life comes from darkness, right? And then you got Tenum, which that's another netcher. That's another netcher. And he's responsible. One of his attributes is black silk from the Nile, right? All right. The Hermopolitan, excuse that been catching me up forever. Creation had several variations. In one, the cosmic egg was laid by the celestial goose, the great cackler, while in another, the egg was laid by an ibis, the bird identified with the Necher Jehuti. In a third variation, a lotus flower emerged from the waters and opened to reveal a child Necher, where the Hermopolitan creation story concerned itself with the act of creation. The Hermopolitan version related more about what things were like before creation actually took place. Another creation myth is called the Memphite theology after the city of Memphis in the Delta. It was inscribed on a stone dated from the time of the King Shabaka in 710 BCE, though it purports to be based upon a much earlier source. The theology says more about the nature of Netrapata and his role as supreme deity and creator that about the than about the act of creation itself. All right. So here we go, man. We got the Netra now. So this is starting with the Agdad right here. This is and then we're gonna I mean uh yeah, right. So the Netra who came into being is in Ptah. Ptah on the great throne. Ptah Nun, the father who made Atum. Ptah Nunet, the mother who bore Atum. Ptah the great is heart and tongue on the nine Netras. There took shape in the heart and on the tongue and form of Atum, and very great one in is Ptah, who gave life to all the Netras and their Kas. Uh, through this heart and through this tongue in which Haru had taken shape as Ptah, in which Jehuti had taken shape as Ptah. Ptah's Enid is before him as teeth and lips. They are the semen and the hands of Atum. For the Enid and Atum came into being through his semen and his fingers. But the Enid is the teeth and lips in his mouth, which pronounced the name of everything from which Shu and Tefnut came forth, and which gave birth to the Enid. Sight, hearing, breathing, they report to the heart and is making every understanding come forth. As to the tongue, it repeats what the heart has devised. Thus all the Netras were born and the Enid was completed. For every word of the Netra came about through what the heart devised and the tongue commanded. Thus it is said of Ptah, he who made all and created the Netras, and he is Tatenen. That is the same. That's the Netra Tatenen, who gave birth to the Netras. Now, so this was the he was part of that ingredient. This is the same brother that I was talking about the black silk of the Nile. Okay, so they needed his ingredient to birth, right, to birth the Netras, and from whom everything came forth: foods, provisions, divine offerings, all things, all good things. Thus it is recognized and understood that he is the mightiest of the Netras. Thus Ptah was satisfied after he had made all things in all divine words. He gave birth to the Netras. He made the towns. He established the nomes. He placed the Netras in their shrines. He settled their offerings. He established their shrines. He made their bodies according to their wishes. Thus the Netras entered into their bodies of every wood, every stone, every clay, everything that grows upon him, in which they came to be. On other regions and cities had creation stories. The Coptos and the Netra men, who was attested from early dynastic times, was regarded as creator and at Elephantine. It was the potter Netra Kanum who had created all things. So here's Tatenen right here. This is the brother I was telling you about. This is him. They got, he got all kind of, pronunciations of it. But he was the deity of the primordial mound in ancient Kemetic thought. His name means risen land or exalted earth, as well as referring to the silt of the Nile as a primeval catonic deity. Tatenen was identified with creation, both feminine and masculine. He was an androgynous protector of nature from the Memphis area, then known as Menifer. the ancient capital of the Enebu Hedge known in Lower Kemet. Titanen represented the earth and was born in the moment it rose from watery chaos. The uh, analogs to the primeval water, primeval mound of the Benben and Mastaba and the later pyramids. He was seen as a source of food and viands. Let's see. So these are all principles. These natures are dealing with principles and what they represented to that land, right? They wasn't they these are not gods. This is just nature. That's all we did. We studied nature, right? Where was I? Sorry, man. Food and viands, divine offerings, all good things, as his realms were the deep regions beneath the earth from which everything emerges, especially including plants, vegetables, and minerals. In the third intermediate period, him, the great hymn of Khnum, he is identified with the creator Necher Khnum, who created all that is and his potter's wheel. This fortuity granted him the titles of both creator and mother who gave birth to all natures and father of all natures. He also personified Kemet due to his association with rebirth of the Nile. He was the aspect of the earth nature Geb as a source of artistic inspiration, as well as assisting the dead in their journey to the afterlife. He is first attested in the inscription that mostly appear on coffins during the first intermediate period and Middle Kingdom. In those inscriptions, his name appears as Tenenu or Tenu, the inner land, a name which characterizes him as a deity of primeval condition of the earth. Middle Kingdom text provided the first example of the form Tatenin. With a staff, Tatenin repelled the evil serpent, a pep from the primeval mound. He also had a magical mace dedicated to the falcon, venerated as the great white of earth creator. In the interpretation, Tatenin brought the Jed pillars of stability to the country, although this is more commonly attributed to Ta. So now here's where we're dealing with the 8 Agdad, right? In Kemetic mythology, right? The Agdad, ancient Greek. This is eightfold ancient commissions. Hen, this is however they broke down the Middle Nature, where 8 primordial deities worship Hermopolis. Reference to the Agdad date to the old kingdom of Kemet, and even at the time of composition of the pyramid text toward the end of the old kingdom, they appear to have been antiquated and mostly forgotten by everyone except their theologians. They are frequently mentioned in the coffin text of the Middle Kingdom. The oldest known pictorial representation of the group do not predate the time of Seti I, New Kingdom, 13th century BC. When the group appeared to be rediscovered by the theologians of Hermopolis for the purpose of creating a more elaborate condition account, text of the late period described them as having the heads of frogs, males, and serpents, females, and they are often depicted in this way in reliefs of the last dynasty to the Ptolemaic kingdom, to their period. So that lasted a long time, King. And so we got the Netzer Amen. This is what everybody, all the Christians, all the Muslims, that's what y'all say at the end of y'all prayer every time. Amen. Y'all call it on the great Netcher, the hidden one you'll never see. So he was the Amen was a major ancient Kemetic deity who appears as a member of the Hermopolitan Roman where we're at Agdad. Wait, wait a minute, I missed some. No, okay, that's it. Amen was attested from the Old Kingdom together with his wife Amenet with the 11th dynasty, 21st century BC. Amen rose to the position of patron deity of Thebes by replacing Montu after the rebellion of Thebes against the Hyksos, and with the rule of Ahmose I, 16th century BC. Amen acquired national importance, expressed in his fusion with the sun deity Ra as Amen Ra, alternately spelled Amen Ra or Amun Re. Amen Ra attained chief importance in the Kemetic pantheon throughout the New Kingdom, with the exception of the Antinous heresy under Akhenaten. Amen Ra in this period, 16th to the 11th century BC, held the position of transcendental self-created creator deity par excellence. He was the champion of a poor or troubled and central to personal piety. With Asar Amen Ra is the most widely recorded of the Kemetic Neteru. As the chief deity of the Kemetic Empire, Amen Ra also came to be worshipped outside Kemet, according to the testimony of ancient Greek historiographers in Libya and Nubia as Zeus Amun and Jupiter Amun, and I mean he came to be identified with Zeus in Greece, Jupiter in Rome. And this is some depictions is what they depicted Amun to look like. Some of them, they got many of them. They got some real good ones too. I was kind of in a hurry. It was getting late. I was getting tired. Sorry. And then here's Aminette right here. Her name, so uh, uh, is a feminine noun that means the hidden one. She is a member of the Agdad of Hermopolis who represented aspects of primeval existence before the creation. Aminette was paired with Amen, whose name also means the hidden one, with a masculine ending. Within this divine group, from the earliest known documentation, such pairing of deities is characteristic of the religious concepts of the ancient Kemetics. In early concepts known as the Agdad, the primeval deity group to which they belonged as night or as determinative D41, meaning to halt, stop, deny, suggesting to the principle of inactivity or repose, was composed of four balanced couples of deities or deified primeval concepts. Speculation exists that Amenet may have been conceived by later theologians as a complement to Amun, rather than being an independent deity originally. However, the pyramid text, the earliest known religious text of ancient Kemet, mention the beneficent shadow of Amen and Amenet. And so here's some depictions of them both, right? And what they would say that they, how they depicted them. And here's Ha-Het, right? In the Agdad and ancient Kemetic science, his name originally meant flood, referring to the watery chaos. Knew that the Commissions believed existed before the creation of the world. The Commissions envisioned this chaos as infinite, in contrast with the finite created world So Ha personified this aspect of primordial waters. Ha's female counterpart was known as Hahet, which is simply a female form of his name. Like the other concept of the Agdad, his male form was often depicted as a frog or a frog-headed human, and his female form as a snake or a snake-headed human. The frog-headed symbolized fertility, creation, and regeneration, and was also possessed by the other Agdad male, Kek, Amen, and Nun. The other common representation depicts him crouching, holding a palm stem in each hand or just one, sometimes with a palm stem in his hair, as palm stems represented long life to the Commissions. The years being represented by notches on it. Depictions of this form also had a shin ring at the base of each palm stem, which represented infinity. Depictions of Ha were also used in Meta Nature to represent 1 million, which is essentially considered equivalent to infinity in ancient Kemetic mathematics. Thus, the deity is also known as the nature of millions of years. And then we got Kek and Keket. Is a deification of the concept of the primordial darkness. In the concept in the ancient Commission Agdad cosmology, Hermopolis, the Agdad consists of 4 pairs of deities, 4 male natures paired with their female counterparts. Kek's female counterpart was Keket. Kek and Keket in some aspects also represent night and day, and were called riser up of the light and the riser up of the night, respectively. The name is written, and then there's the variations right there. But it's associated with the word for darkness. New and new, watery one, or Nun, the inert one. Ancient Commission, no, Coptic, so they going into some of the nouns, whatever. And ancient Kemetic thought is the personification of the primordial water abyss, which existed at the time of creation and from which the creator sun deity Ra rose. Nu is one of the 8 deities of the Agdad, representing ancient Commission primordial chaos from which the primordial mound rose. None can be seen as the first of all natures and the creator of reality and personification of the cosmos. None is also considered the nature that would destroy existence and return everything to none whence it came. No cult was addressed to Dun. Dun consort was the nature Nunet. So that's Nun and Nunet right there. And there's a relief of them right there on the walls right there. So here's the Enid. Now here's the ones that most everybody is familiar with. And these are Greek names right here, y'all. I mean, sorry about that, but they gotta know what they're talking about too. You know what I mean? But yeah, here's Atum right here. So primeval and creator deity according to the theology of Heliopolis. At the beginning of creation, he created himself out of the primeval waters of Noon. In some texts called his father, and appeared on the primeval hill. He then began his work of creation by masturbating, or in other versions, by spitting. He created the first pair of netures, Shu Tevnut. Eventually, the Enid of Heliopolis was created. Although Atum is also the sun deity, which, like Re, they were at first separate netures. Nevertheless, the pyramid text from the Old Kingdom already combined the two netures into Re Atum. Excuse me. The Kemetic priests linked the various sun deities to different phases of the sun. Thus, Khepri became the morning sun, and Atum was regarded as the evening sun. The word Itmu, from which the name is derived, means to complete oneself in the Meta Nature, or Re on top of the western mountain. In a spell in the Book of the Dead, Atum relates that at the end of time, he will destroy everything he has created, and that the world will return to the primeval situation from before creation and become an inert mass of water. There, Atum, having turned himself into a snake, will live with Asar. And so that's a depiction of Atum. And then we got Shu. Shu is the nature of air and wind. His actions were experienced in the hot desert air, but also in the fresh wind that cooled both men and animals. We both know exactly what his name means. It is possible that it should be read as he who rises up, but it could also be derived from verb meaning to be empty. Shu is usually depicted as a man with a feather on his head, the hieroglyphic sign used to write his name. Shu is one of the natures in the Heliopolitan Enid. Creation began with the coming into existence of Shu and his counterpart Tefnut. The male-female polarity was created out of the androgynous primeval nature Atum. According to the one version of the Heliopolitan creation story, Shu was created by Atum's exhalation. This is why he is linked with the breath of life and could be regarded as the principle of life itself. The children of Shu and Tefnut are Geb and Nut, and it was Shu's task to support Nut and keep heaven and earth separated. Thus, Shu is the divine power that created the living space within which creation could unfold. Shu's association with the sunlight was permeated that certain sunlight that permeates the Nile Valley air led to a connection with the sun deity Re. Just like the sun's rays, he is a visible image of the sun deity. As a result, Shu escaped persecution during the reign of Akhenaten. He was regarded as sojourning in the sun's disk. Shu was later also connected with the moon. As such, he lit the path through the underworld for the deceased and the natures. Although Shu is mentioned in the pyramid text and plays an important role in the coffin text, he is hardly mentioned elsewhere before the New Kingdom. His rise in the New Kingdom is probably due to his association with the principle of life, which played a central role in the theology of this period. All right, here's Tefnut, right? Kemetic nature, whose function is not completely clear. That's to them. She is the daughter of Atum and the counterpart of Shu. Her children are Geb and Nut. She is called the nature of moisture, based on the fact that creation myth tells that she was created by Atum spitting her out. The same is also true of Shu. However, it thus appears that her most important role was that of Shu's partner. In Kemetic science, there are many beings that appear to have been created to satisfy Kemetians' need to have pairs. Besides Nephthys, the rather colorless pendant of Osset, and the female nature from Hermopolitan Ogdod are examples of this. Tefnut does indeed usually appear in company with Shu. Their link is so close to the so close that in the Roman period they became twins in the zodiac. So they associated the Romans associated them as the twins in the zodiac. That's that. Hear me?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, you loud and clear, man. That's powerful.
Yeah, you loud and clear, man.
Okay. All
Yeah, we
right.
can hear you.
All right. Sweet. All right. As the pyramid text from the Old Kingdom, Shu and Tefnut are mentioned as a lion pair. It is mainly Tefnut who is often shown as a lioness. Later on, Kemetic thought has various stories about the search of a nature for a lioness. For example, the natures of this Honoris and myth, Mehet, Mahet, have such a tale. Shu and Tefnut were also regarded as the eye of the sky falcon, with Shu usually the sun and Tefnut the moon. But Tefnut could also be the sun eye, who spits fire, annihilating her enemies, and who in other versions of the myth is considered to be the Urias. From there is it was only a small step to associating her with the eye of the sun, who is far away from her lord and who has taken on the form of bloodthirsty lioness. Shu and Chehuti were then sent after her to fetch her back. This contradictory nature meant that Tefnut was compared with both an angry lioness, Sekhmet, and a friendly cat, Bastat. Then we got Geb of the earth, as the son of Shu and Tefnut, a member of the Aeneid of Heliopolis. He was the husband of the sky Necher Nut. His children were Asar, Aset, Nephthys, and Set. Many representations show the Necher laying down with Nut stretched out above him on hands and toes. Sometimes they are separated by Shu, who supports the sky. Often Geb is colored green or vegetation is shown growing out of him. The fertility aspect associated with this are also emphasized by depictions of him with an erect penis pointed towards the sky. In addition to this positive side, the Necher also had a negative side. After all, the dead were buried and shut into his body, a terrible fate. In the pyramid text, for example, appear the word, the earth is an abomination for the deceased. He shall not enter into Geb, so that he will not decay. As the nature of earth, Geb was also the lord of snakes, which lived in him, the products produced by the earth, such as plants and minerals, were also associated with him. Geb plays a special role in the story of the conflict between Heru and Seth. In many versions, it is Geb who acts as judge. The Shabaka stone, for example, tells that the Necher originally decided to split control over Kemet equally between the two rivals, with Seth being granted Upper Kemet and Heru Lower Kemet. Later, Geb regretted his decision and allocated the entire country to Heru. Before Geb himself was the last ruler on Earth, and the living king was the personification of Heru. The latter was often called the heir of Geb, the heir of Geb. Sorry. And here's a little depiction of it, man. I could have got a better one. I should have. I was gonna change this one, but it's cool. Here's Newt. Nature of the sky visualizes bending over the earth with her hands and her feet at the corners of the earth and her head in the west. The sun traveled along her body every day toward the west. And once it got there, it was swallowed by Newt. During the night, it traveled through her body until she gave birth to it again in the east the next morning. This cycle is depicted on the ceiling of the tombs in the Valley of the Kings in particular, but also appears in temples. The Commission's hope to be born again every day after death, just like the sun, and to live among the stars. Thus, Newt became a funerary nature, stretching protectively over the deceased, and through whom the deceased could rise again. From the early period, the sarcophagus and tomb were identified with Newt. Even in the Old Kingdom, the ceiling of the burial chamber were decorated with stars, or the sarcophagus called Mother. Many coffins from later periods have a depiction of Newt on the inside of the lids. She is literally stretching herself out above the deceased. In addition to the notions of rebirth and protection, Newt is also depicted as giving the deceased food and water and cool air. These images indicate a connection between Newt and Hathor, the protectress of the dead, like the latter. Newt could be portrayed as a tree nature giving the deceased water. And the Aeneid of Heliopolis, Newt is the wife of the earth nature Geb, her counterpart. She is separated from him by their father Shu, and the nature of the air. Nut was the mother of Asar, Aset, Nephthys, and Seth. Sometimes Heru is also called her son. Plutarch related to the sun deity Helios, the Greek equivalent to Re, put a curse on Rhea, Nut, forbidding her to give birth on any day of the calendar year. Thanks to the intervention of Hermes, which is Jehuti, 5 Pergamental days were added to the year on which Nut gave birth to her 5 children, including Heru. Nut is usually depicted as a woman, sometimes with the meta nature for her name on her head. She is often bending over the earth with stars depicted on her body. Occasionally, she has wings as a sign of coolness and protection. She gives. Sorry. She is also shown in the form of a cow. And that's a little depiction of her.
Let me ask one question here. On the
Yeah.
page prior, didn't it say that it was regretted that they separated the two? I think that was at the
No.
bottom of the page. I think that was at the bottom of the page prior to the one that you just read. But I can go back and look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's Asar, natural associated above all with death, resurrection, and fertility. In the Aeneid of Heliopolis, he is the son of Geb, Nut, and the counterpart of Aset, Nephthys and Seth. Asar and Aset are the parents of Heru. The most coherent story of Asar's fate is that told by the Greek author Plutarch. According to him, Asar was a mortal king whose good rule evoked Seth's jealousy. During a party, Seth announced that he would present a chest, i.e., a coffin, to whoever fitted into it perfectly. He had constructed the chest in advance using Asar's measurements. Asar got into the chest, upon which Seth locked and threw it into the Nile. The chest floated to Byblos, where it landed, and a tree grew up over it. Set found the chest and brought it back to Kemet, where she wanted to bury her husband. However, Seth discovered this and chopped Asar's body into pieces and scattered them throughout Kemet. Set then searched for all the pieces and buried each where she found it. Parts of this tradition are not known from Kemetic sources, but some elements may be found in texts from early as Old Kingdom, for example, his death by drowning and the finding of his body by Set. First information, Seth as Asar's murderer dated from the Middle Kingdom. An important difference between the tradition of Plutarch and the Kemetic success is in the former Heru was. Whereas the Kemetic tradition relates that Heru was conceived after Set had gathered the body parts together into a mummy and reanimated it by blowing the breath of life into it with her wings. Asar was worshipped from a very early period. It is assumed that he was originally a nurturer of fertility, whose duty was to ensure a good harvest. As such, he was related to the now inundation. Sorry. He quickly became the nurturer of resurrection too. In the Old Kingdom, the deceased king was identified with Asar, and his successor, the living king, with Heru. Later shown, for example, by the coffin text and the Book of the Dead, every deceased person was considered to be an Asar. Nevertheless, in the pyramid text of the Old Kingdom, a slightly negative attitude toward life in Osiris's world can be detected. Continued existence in the sky with the sun deity Re was considered the ideal. In later centuries, the two destinations will be brought more into balance with each other. The main cult center for Asar was Abydos, the capital of the eighth Upper Kemet Nome, one very important place of pilgrimage. There was a tomb of King Jur from the proto-dynastic period, which was later regarded as the tomb of Asar. And then there's a depiction of Asar, and then there's another depiction of Asar Set, suckling baby Heru. That's how they depicted him. An annual festival for Asar was celebrated in the city, during which the bark of the nurture was born in a procession, and the victory of excuse me for a second, family. 1 second. All right, sorry, family. And the victory of Asar over his enemies was celebrated. Abydos was regarded as a location where the head of Asar was buried. After his body had been chopped into pieces by Seth, the dome emblem of the city shows his head wearing the Asar crown with double feathers. Other cities were also associated with the body parts of Asar. Basiris being one of the best known, this city was associated with the backbone of Asar. See Jed Pillar. Asar was also associated with the mortuary Necher Sokar and with Ptah. Among his epithets, two of the most common were Winnefer and Kentena. Y'all see that, right? Y'all see that, right?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. Actually, the name of the original Necher of Abdus, whose culture was early amalgamated into the superseded by that of Asar. Asar is depicted as a mummiform human figure. His hands and head are visible. However, his hands, he holds a staff of office and flail sign of royal dignity. On his head is a Atef crown, the white crown with a feather on either side, and sometimes the horn of a ram. Occasionally, Asar's skin is green in reference to the fertility aspect. And here's a depiction of a set right here, and you see, she got it's a depiction with the horns and the sun disk, and then you got another depiction of her with the throne on her head, and that's that's just letting you know that you can't get to the throne without getting through the mother, man, through the woman. Am I boring y'all, man?
Not even close.
It's a lot of reading, huh? Aset, who is in the Ennead of Heliopolis, is a daughter of Geb, Nu, and Nu. According to the calendars, born on the fourth a pagomental day, she was the wife and counterpart of Osiris and the mother of her son Haru. In the traditional version of the Kemetic thought, Aset is the one who searched for her husband's body after his death. Once she had found all the pieces scattered by Seth throughout Kemet, she assembled them onto the first mummy, which she then reanimated with the breath of life from her wings, and by whom she conceived Haru. Together with her sister Nephthys, Aset first appeared as a wailing woman around the body of deceased Asar. The sorrow changed into celebration when Asar was temporarily reanimated in the marshes of the Delta near Chemis. She hid her son Harises, Haru, or the son of Aset. Although the son was safe from Seth here, he was threatened by other dangers such as scorpions, snakes, crocodiles. One of Aset's most important duties was to protect the child against these dangers and to heal any bites or stings. In the text on a number of magical stelae, first found at the end of the New Kingdom, but mainly dated from the late period, Aset as great of magic is called upon to provide protection and healing. Later, once Haru had grown up and become Herondat's Haru, protector of his father, Aset helped him in his struggle against Seth. Although there are also reference of antagonistic context with Haru, who beheaded her while she cut off his hands. From at least the New Kingdom, Aset was frequently associated with the Necher Hathor, whose name means house of Haru, from whom she acquired her headdress, cow's horns, and sun disk. As a cow Necher, she also came She could also be worshipped as the mother of the Apis bull. Aset was not only identified with Hathor, but also with many other natures, such as the nature of the West, Emitet, and Urus as the eye of Re, uh, Nekbet, and Wajet, and Sekhmet, and Bastet, and also with Mut, the wife of Ammon. Aset was worshipped in a great many temples, and most important of which were the Coptos, called the Upper Kemetic Isum in the late period, Nubia, among other places, both Buhin and Philae, because of her link with Hathor. The Necher also played an important role in Dendera. The popularity of the Necher is demonstrated by the fact that her cult survived in Philae until the 6th century AD and was only ended by a decree by Justinian in about 537 AD in the Hellenistic world. The cult of Isis spread throughout the entire Roman Empire. Various temples for the Necher were built in Rome. The Necher's name possibly means seat of throne, although this is still controversial. What is certain is that she was linked with the royal throne, which is represented by the hieroglyph that is often depicted on her head. Aset is also considered to be a symbolic mother of the living king, who was the personification of Haru. Aset is usually depicted as a woman with the symbol of a throne on her head, or else cow's horns and the sun disk. Sometimes she is shown with wings attached to her arms or as a bird, referring both to the myth of Asar, where she received shade and the breath of life from where he received shade and breath of life from her wings, and also to the wailing women who, just like certain birds of prey, emit shrill sounds of mourning at the death of Asar. Aset is also known in the form of a cow. Many uh, statuettes from the late period, often of bronze, show Aset suckling her son Haru on her lap. I showed y'all that. Now this right here, this is Nephthys. This Nephthys, y'all. This is a depiction of Nephthys, right? And Nephthys, nature of ancient Kemet. Nephthys is one of the oldest and most important deities in ancient Kemet. While modern scholars initially believed that she had no independent temples, it has been shown that the nature had myriad cult centers around the country, dating from as early as the pre-dynastic period. They talking about 6,000 to 3,150 BC, to as late as the Ptolemaic period. Excuse me. Nephthys seemed to have been of great importance and widely worshipped by the ancient Cometians. But today, the nature is overshadowed by her sister Aset, who was important and imported into ancient Greece and then Rome, while Nephthys did not enjoy popularity outside of Nile Valley. The nature main cult center were at Heliopolis, Sinu, Hebet, Permet, Nefer, Kek, Sekhem, Panajim, Supermural, and Heracropolis. The nature cult of Ponogym was so popular that one of her priests complained about his heavy workload. Her cult center at Hecalopolis became the site of an important festival and to rejuvenate the life force of the Kemetic pharaoh. Under Ramses II, 1279 to 1213 BC, during New Kingdom, Kemet, Nephthys was so popular that she had an independent temple in the holy precinct of Supermural. The nature also often appeared in text without reference in other Kemetic deities, to other Kemetic deities with which she was associated. Along with Ptah, Tenon, Nephthys was often used to represent Lower Kemet, while her sister Isis and the Netcher Khnum represented Upper Kemet. Nephthys is a member of the Ennead of Heliopolis, which links her to many other important ancient Kemetic deities, and also places her within one of the Kemetic creation stories, Kemetic creation myths. The ancient Kemetic believed in different creation myths supported by different cult centers. The other most popular creation myth belonged to the centers at Hermopolis and Memphis. And here is Set right here. This your boy Set, y'all. This is how he was depicted. Right. The nature of chaos and confusion. Set was the son of Geb and Nu, and his brother, and the brother of Asar, Set and Nephthys. The latter nature was also his wife. After the death of Asar, who according to some myths was murdered by Seth, he battled for a long time with Haru, the son of Asar, about who would become king. The fight between the two opponents was sometimes very violent. Thus, Haru attempted to kill Seth with a spear. Then the latter changed in a hippopotamus, and the Seth and Seth in turn tore out Haru's eye. The matter was finally settled in the divine tribune, which decided in favor of Haru. The disorganized world outside the Nile Valley, the desert was the desert as well as foreign lands, was connected with Seth. So they saying that he came from a foreign land, but I don't. That could be argued, right? Okay, as a result of the nature, sometimes is linked with the foreign deities, Astarte and Anak. Like most natures, Seth also had a different positive side. He was the one, for example, who beat the evil Apophis snake Apep. Each night, the alchemy of the sun deity. Seth was worshipped since prehistoric times, as is shown by the fact that he is depicted on all kinds of objects from that period. This was not only the case in the Kata, where, according to tradition, he was born, but throughout Kemet. Every king of Kemet came to personify Haru and Seth, and they were often depicted together, including on the sides of a number of royal thrones in a scene symbolizing the unification of the two lands. Seth was paid particular attention to honor in the second intermediate period, with the Hyksos worshiped him in the Delta, probably because they identified him with their own natural Baal. And in the early Ramesside period, when the number of kings were named after him, such as Sethos the first. Seth is usually depicted with the body of a man and the head of a mythical animal, which sometimes resembles a donkey or anteater. There is also several animals depictions of the Netcher, who then has the body of a predatory animal or other mammal, the head of the aforementioned mythical beast, and the forked, upstanding tail. Finally, Seth is also shown in the form of various animals about which people had mixed feelings, such as the hippopotamus or a pig. So he was worshipped, man, for a long time. So this is at the end, man. This is just the name in alphabetical order of a lot of the Netchers, King. Right? It's just alphabetical order, man. Some of the names of them.
Man, that's a grip.
Yeah, but this right here is a side-by-side comparison of ancient Kemetic names and where the Greeks copied and came up with theirs. So what y'all think, man? Talk to me, man.
Hey, let me jump in real quick because I want to hear what everybody else got to say. But so that's really good, man. That was the Netchers and the Netcheroos when I was first introduced to this was what I really wanted to jump in and study. So me and Jamie discussed the spells, the effect that the spells had on me and shit like that. Just not even getting into the book much, but then I started reading other stuff, man, and I found out how expansive this study of this history of our culture is, and so it's always been a big interest of mine, and I'm familiar with a number of them, but I just didn't get back to that deep study. So thank you again. I think last week we shared some stuff on the Netchers too, but Jamie just blew it open. So uh, whoever's next. Hey, Jamie, you put that work in, man. This is really good, man. And no, it wasn't boring at all to me. I don't know about anybody else, but it was really informative, man, especially for, the viewers that view this later. Man, that's really informative. So I
Yeah, that
tried
was good, man.
I tried to keep a mindset of a beginning student, and so it was really informative. So I'm good. Go ahead, Eric. Unmute your mic.
A lot of information there, man. A lot of information, very informative. I hope people take something from that and do their research and study and learn more about it. There's a lot there, a whole lot.
What you think, Gerald? What you think, brother?
Yeah, a lot of information. We consider that the basics. Getting into the Netherroot, you won't understand the mythology until you know the basics. So that just takes the time that each individual have to go on. That ain't nothing you can skip over. We put in this task that we got to look at books, but back in Kemet, they saw all these. They had the statues, they could see it all the time. So those are the prerequisites. The basics was to learn about what as the conversation was saying, these gods, what are all these gods?
Right.
What are they? Y'all believed in a bunch of different gods. And then it's just that explanation of what that is. And then the explanation of who we are. Once you understand who we are and connect that, the theology, it becomes more clear, you know. By nature, we are a spiritual people. So that concept of us, all that God stuff, you'll hear us saying today, God this, God that. We are by nature a spiritual people. So we would turn the sky into something divine. We would turn the sun into something divine. We would turn the water into something that was divine. It's a part of our nature. Once you turn the water divine, you don't pollute it. Now we got to drink water. Once you turn the sky into something divine, you don't put a hole in it, like the ozone layer. Once I turn you into divine, you're not my, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a whole different way that we looked at things, you know, and that's what people don't understand. And that's why we can still be fooled in religions today. So again, I'm older, and we are spiritual people. So we can also be tricked by it. We can be tricked by it. We love images. We love talking about these type of things. We've always talked about it. We've always had it. That's a part of our culture. If that somebody else can come back and look at us and say, okay, these dudes are kind of superstitious, or they into this religious thing. All we got to do is act like we like it. They're going to jump into it and we can control them.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But see, that's why I said, you know, it's, you know, I just wanted to clear up the misconception, man, how, you know, you know, the first reason why no one wants to listen to, you know, Kemetic thought is because, you know, they think that we worshiping all these gods, right? And so through their Western, or through their you know, their Western concept, their uh biblical concept, they can't get that, they can't separate that, they can't separate it. That, you know, because what they done did is they done took their teachings and they done made those people real. They done made those, you know what I mean? And and so now you can't get you can't get the principle out of it. You can't get the concept. You can't get the meaning out of the story, because you done made these people real. See, we know that the nature's, I mean, the nature is real, but the way that they, you know, the way that they explained it, you know, there ain't nobody, you know, we know that ain't nobody walking around with no bird ass head. Or no, there ain't no man with a bird head, right?
Mhm.
You know, so right. So, you know, I just wanted to make sure that no, it's not worshiping gods. It's if you want to say worship, we work. Okay, we can worship nature. You know, without the sun, we can't live. Without water, we can't live. Without air, we can't live. I mean, so why not worship that? Right?
Well, again, that's that whole concept of you ain't supposed to worship nothing but the one God. What's happened is the way our culture is and the way our life had been demonized. Again, as I said, as me brought up in the church, and most of us are brought up in Abrahamic faiths. Egypt is the bad guy.
That's
Right
right.
from the beginning. Egypt did everything wrong. So even looking back into that, they feel in a certain type of way, like they are betraying their faith by even looking into what was going on in Kemet. So again, you can just throw out, oh, y'all worship, I see a bunch of gods, y'all worship that. And again, you can explain to them, if they've been demonized against it, they're not listening, they shutting off to it, you know. a person has to be wanting to look and to say, hey, what is that about? When you have that open mind, then you can understand the concept. But if your mind is closed, you know, you're already rejecting it and making arguments why you don't want to look into it. You
Yeah.
know?
And that's it too. That's it. You hit it. Hey,
So I put up a video on Sankofa where they was doing a traditional thing in Africa with the Idris bird on their head and the Idris bird writing in the sand. That was pretty cool to me. And then I wrote a post. I responded to one of the cats when I put up the banner for Jamie doing his presentation today. I put up a response to this cat, and I said that it seems to me that they utilize that word God to degrade our principles, to degrade our principles, the purpose of our principles, and to advance their initial and intended purpose to and I didn't write all that, but it's in the short summary, and it's depicting exactly what I'm saying. I just dropped it hot on them. And so just to clear it up, Jamie said in the beginning, that there's no word for God, right? We didn't utilize that. So the impartation of that shit, man, was to degrade our culture so that they can advance their culture, right? And then enslave us all in this fallacy of the creation story, which I got a lot of notes, so I'm gonna share last. I just wanted to jump in and really just let you know that I got notes and I got shit to talk about.
Well, sometimes when they play with that if we're going back to the word God and then Netaru, it's okay, when we say God, that's a concept. Even though we say the word God, the people back, we the first people, we had a concept of a creator. We had a concept of something coming before us. Whether we said God or called it Netta or we're dealing with the Amen or Ptah or all that there, we had this concept of that. Okay. When they came in and translated our works that dealt with the Netaru, these attributes of what we call the one, they said that we worship many gods. And that whole concept, they got this thing called polytheism and monotheism. So they trying to say we ass backwards, we backwards, because we into some polytheism.
Right.
It's all a concept too that they'll say that in our culture, that not only did they worship a bunch of different gods, but they also said that they were God. They don't like that. It's only, and it's the different way of, and again, when they said netters or the netaru were these attributes of the one, the attributes of the all. When you really get into it, they never even ever showed a concept of what they called a God. What they called their main one was unseen. If you ever saw a statue of a netter, that wasn't the main one. They didn't make no images of the main one. That was a representation of what they called it. But when they deal with the main one, what they call it, Patu Netaru, they didn't make no image of that. That was sacred. But all they said was initiation stuff. You have to be initiated to even know that, to even understand a little bit of that. That's what the culture was about. They put them statues out, and as a young one, and everybody would go around looking at it. And one day I would say, hey, brother, as somebody said earlier, ain't no, did people live back then with a hawk on his head? We keep hearing about Hebrew back in the ancient times in our set. Did Hebrew have a hawk on his head? Or did Aset have some cow coming out and they would laugh at you?
Yeah.
And they say, you ready to be initiated. You ask the proper questions. Now you can be initiated. But they never made no one. If you didn't ask that question and you just went believing in that, Man, that's what level you was on. Until you asked a certain proper question is when you got initiated. Once you got initiated, they will tell you, no, this story is about you. It ain't about no ancient way back then. This is about you. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting, man.
It's all
Yeah.
the myth, all the myths that you learned was about you when they deal with the pyramid text, the coffin text, and lastly the Purdah Maruk. The myths, you already had to know the myths. When you deal with the text at the end times with what you call the pyramid text, and they saying all this here, you already had to know the story. And then you making that story you. It's one part where they said atom. And at the end of the world, atom, the world is gonna be over, it's gonna go back and he gonna connect with a saw. I don't know if y'all remember that part. It was like at the end times, atom is going, the world is going in, he gonna connect back with a saw. That is so key way back in the pyramid text.
Damn, I missed that part, King. No, I didn't miss you saying it. I missed it when he was showing. But that's all right, because I reviewed this anyway, so it's all good.
Right.
But,
Well, again, when everybody keep talking about the end of times and revelations and the world gonna end and blah, 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 that's what scares everybody. And everybody trying to say, I got to get right. This was my revelation back when I was 20, when I said, shit, I'm in the war. And I believe in Jesus. And I know I ain't been living right. So when I die and I done said I believed in Jesus, I'm going to hell. You know, that's what scared everybody, going to hell. So I had to figure that out. So when you read this text, they say, well, at the end, Atum is going to connect with a saw, and they're going to be as one together.
And he's going to destroy what he created.
Going to destroy what he created.
That's right.
You remember that? Yeah,
right.
And he's going to connect back with a saw. That's why right. in the Pert Emerald, what they call the Book of the Dead, each person was to connect with a saw.
That's right.
I am a saw, a saw.
That's right.
So hold up just a second right there. So when you said he's gonna come back and destroy what he created, what creation is he going to destroy? What part of creation?
Everything.
Everything. It ain't gonna be number water. It ain't gonna be number water left. That's what he said.
Okay, so back to noon.
Go back to noon.
So what I'm saying is, it's a similar fear. It's a similar fear.
No, that's just our story.
It's a question.
Our story that they told.
It's a question that I'm just asking. I'm just asking. So in the Revelations, because I'm good with that book too, right? And so they're gonna eliminate all that fear concept, right? And so what you bringing out, Gerald, is that and Jamie just said it. It's gonna be all water. So either way, we ghost.
What he said was he gonna connect back to a saw. They will be there at the end. What you had our people doing was always saying, I'm a saw.
Right. Exactly.
Therefore, they didn't fear. When the end time come, if you was with a saw, you was with God. You was one. You was one with the Creator. You had no fear. That was your knowledge of self.
Exactly.
That's what you knew. So you didn't feel that. Nobody could scare you with killing you right now and saying this and nothing. Nobody could make you deny that you was a divine being or a nectar and this, that, and the other.
Because you were a saw. You are a saw.
Right.
You are a saw.
There ain't no judgment seat. There ain't no judgment seat, right? Where except for
yeah.
I'm gonna give you the whole. I'm gonna give you the whole key. When you at the end of judgment time, right?
When you get your heart weighed with the scale.
Your heart weighed, and the saw sitting there judging. That's you judging yourself.
Right.
You know what you did. You can't lie to yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man,
don't think of you as your personality, or me as Gerald as my personality. It's a higher consciousness of me that sees all that all-seeing eye. That's what judges. That's why you can't do nothing. I can't never do nothing wrong and say, should I have done that? And some inside of me say, yeah, you don't supposed to do that. Now you might weigh it, say, I don't care, I can go to jail, or I might catch a whooping for it. But each of us know what's right and wrong. We choose to ignore that. Ain't nobody outside of us telling us that it's right or wrong. You know it. It's inside of you. You came equipped with that.
And that's that God. And that's
Yeah,
God.
that's your God consciousness. The Creator gave you that when you was born. You was equipped with that.
So, man, I gotta break in. I gotta break in because this is fire right here. This is
Right.
fire. So, yeah, I'm new to that part, man. So I'm just, letting that marinate. I got to sit back and let that marinate.
You remember you are remembering.
Right.
You know this already. I'm just here just touching it with you, but you're gonna come from within, you're gonna come forth. Because you remembering yourself. That's why I feel good. That's why you laughing.
Yeah. And so that's that representation of what's up, God, right? Acknowledge it. So keep on going though, man. But I'm really intrigued to hear what you got to say still, because that's fire, right? Jamie, you don't crack the nut, nigga. It's king, and so Gerald, I want you to keep going, but I'm really also interested in hearing what Eric has to say in conjunction to what you say. But keep on going, Gerald. Don't shorten what you were going to say. Just keep going. I just had to interject because that's straight fire right there.
Yeah, well, again, this just, man, I've been researching. Like I said, this happened way back when I was 20 something, and I first got to go to Kemet, and not knowing that that was my part of Sankofa. Not knowing I'm straight red, white, and blue. I'm wearing America's uniform. But it was able to take me over there, and I saw that. Then I just basically came back and saw some of the master teachers. Kwesi had been there. He was doing tapes. Dr. Bean, Dr. Clark were already taking people back. So I started to study them. And then I went through the metaphysical, and then I had to, I wanted to know for myself. And after just studying and building with others, and especially getting on an esoteric level, because like I said, it's a basic level of learning. And like I said, at one time, I thought I had to know every Neteru name. I was so damn scared. I was like, I got to know each and one of their names.
Hey, that was my jump off too when Jamie first told me off with this, right? And I said it in the beginning. I was going to search them Netters and Netterus out, but then I found other information, man. It just took me, especially them goddamn councils, right? Especially the councils. Go ahead, keep on going.
Okay, when they deal with that all God that you was talking about, with them 8 at the beginning, that's them starting to explain what the noon was.
Yeah.
They keep talking about this primordial. You'll hear our people always say it was something was there. It was like nothing came from nothing. It was something always was there. When you deal with Westerners, they keep calling this chaos. It was just what we were saying. We don't truly understand what the hell is what was there. Just like when they talk about dark matter and stuff, or even the world, we only really know about 2%. The rest of the shit is dark matter. So they were saying it's something now. We just can't define it. Whenever they couldn't really define what something was, it was chaotic to them. Whenever they could define it, they would put that name on it. So they were saying there's some chaos up in here. When they deal with that God, Amanet, Noonet, Kuket, Huket. If you grab the 4 initials of them beginning, they'll spell Ankh, A-N-K-H.
Yeah, right.
And you'll hear the Ankh always connected with eternal life. What they saying is then, in the beginning was eternal life. Everything that we had from the beginning, whether you go into this big explosion and this, that, and the other, These are later people putting these things in mythology to a way that they can explain it. These are our scientists putting these things in myths to a way that they can comprehend and we can talk about it later.
Let me jump in real quick. Let me jump in real quick on what you just said. Because one of my questions here was coquette, and they mentioned darkness. I wrote down, are they talking about the skin change, the skin color? Are they talking about the absence of light, or trouble, as darkness, trouble, right? But you just explained that, right? So that's one of my questions.
Well, it's almost, you'll hear them being explained more than one different way, but they almost trying to say that they are limitless in this darkness, or formless, or this it's a word that's I used to describe dealing with it, but it's grasped in my mind. I haven't talked about this in a while. But everything that we know and everything that we don't know was already here prior. So when they said the birth of these Neteru, the birth of these gods, that God that's coming out of that is just a representation of something that's already there. They don't really show what was there, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So you got so you had a birth of Amun, then you had a birth of Ptah, the birth of Ra. Later, you'll hear Egyptologists saying that these are fighting against each other. They're not fighting against each other. That's just somebody coming saying, I understand it a different way. I'm going to tell it this way, but they all saying the same story. They all saying the same exact story. They'll make us think that they competing against each other. And it's just this brother coming along later, and he got an explanation, but his language is cold. He cold with his language, and people can understand his shit better, and the more people can go to him. By the time that Asar story came out, more people could understand that Asar story, and everybody could go to it, not just the kings or the priests. But it's the same story.
Right.
Just like at one time they saying just the kings or the pharaohs are the only gods. No, when somebody else explained it later, it's like, no, we all gods.
Right.
We all divine. Each and every one of us are divine. We all Neteru. We're divine beings.
That's right.
So let me just interject one more time, man. So and I was going to get the 42 laws out, man, but look at which one I was talking about. But I'm out here with these bees, right? And the bees are so hot here right now, right? They're so hot, and I got a pool, right? And they're trying to cool off and shit. And so I haven't killed many bugs since, because I believe one of the 42 says, do not kill them bugs, right? And so that just took place in me, and I just recognized that I wasn't doing that while I'm rinsing off my pool deck and, splashing, get them up off me, but I ain't killing them, right? And so I just needed to throw that in there with what you were saying, man, because, it's all purposeful, right? I see them pollinating the trees in a different light. You pointed out, why you remembering, huh? You remembering, Lorenzo, you're remembering, man. That's why you joyful and elated, right? Yeah, because I'm on fire right now, boy. This is new shit. I love it. Well, you saying that it ain't new. You saying that it ain't new, and that resonates. I'm just remembering, right? With clarity. So, yeah.
We all just remembering. This is what's in us. It's a myth about us being put back together. We've been cut up into 14 pieces. We think we this, we think we that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Set goes on that journey. That's that wisdom that somebody was talking about. She's so important in the midst. Set is the one that goes on our journey. When we start looking, what the hell happened to us? What is this about? And we start getting all these different pieces from everywhere. And we start, sometimes we can
Put
get
them
one
together.
piece and we think that piece is the whole thing and we stop there. Or we'll get this piece and somebody else got another piece and we'll fight with them about them pieces. No, they got to be put all together. You know,
Yeah.
so that remembering that's how they had to remember us all. It's a story about us have to get put back together.
Damn,
Yeah.
I never seen it that way, King. I never seen it. And I go over this part a lot, you know, whether I'm online or just, you know, in my own zone, you know, I go over this often, man. I never seen it that way.
But see, here's the cool thing about that though is they say that every man is a czar and every woman
Yeah,
and
yeah.
every woman is a czar. And
Yes.
this is why they are not, see, because in the Bible, the women is left out.
Yeah.
Right?
They ain't got no proper place.
They ain't got no place. They ain't got no place for them. No place set for them in the Bible. I'm saying, but in Kemetic teachings, every man is a czar and every woman is a czar.
Yeah.
On that
And that's
level, they were
why,
talking
and,
about
and that's
soul.
and that's why they're both able to meet up with Atum at the end. You see what I'm saying? This is why we both are able to meet up with Atum at the end. See, but woman can't meet up with in the Bible. No, she out of there. She out of there. But with our teachers, she right next to us, right there.
Right.
And we're gonna have to get
Right there.
together. We're gonna have to get together a couple times, folks, because I got shit problem through my cosmos up here, man. And so let Eric jump in there, man. Compliment that. You guys can bounce back and forth, man. I don't care. And the ladies might want to say something, but Eric, give me what you got, King. Got me stuttering.
Oh, man.
Hey, Nick got me stuttering over here, boy. Hey, and I ain't low on sugar, Jamie. Go ahead, Eric. Give me something, man. And then, Gerald, man, don't drift too far, man, because this shit is
No,
fun.
I'm right
Yeah,
here.
I know.
Oh, well, Gerald, man, he's on fire, man. He's bringing it like it's supposed to be brought. Real talk. Ain't no sugarcoating this thing. But it's important. I also believe that we don't get caught up because, like you said, you went through phases, and I think I showed the group this earlier. When we look at that timeline, you look at different groups of folks representing the concept, the creation concept. So it's not surprising they don't go through transition from one name to another, but they were all talking about the human experience, period, and the relationship between.
You faded out, Eric.
Yeah, hold on,
Because we have
go
to
back.
understand also is that.
Hold on, Eric, go back, because you faded out. Go back and start over.
Go back from where?
Like say what you just said right over again. What you just said.
Just that last part.
Yeah, the last part.
Okay, well, I mean, about the connection between humans, people, us, nature, and celestial beings or the sky above, and knowing that it's a direct relationship with what goes on this planet. So we got to know what's going on, especially when we're growing food and things like that. So understanding pole stars and the importance of the constellations was key to our existence, to our high level of existence. So he's right on, man. Once we begin to remember, and Anthony Browder does a really good put away. He calls himself a memory specialist and helps with the remembering of our minds because it's laying dormant. Your DNA is the same DNA that ran through them brothers who helped put this together.
Hold on, Eric. Say it again. You said that we the same brothers that what?
Concept was widespread.
Eric,
Surprisingly enough,
hold
this
on,
concept,
Eric,
yeah,
hey, you said the brothers are the same brothers that what? Because you cut out.
the brothers now, we are the same. The DNA is within us and the same brothers who helped build this concept of different deities from Ptah to Osiris, all that. That's all us. It's within us. So it's how you identify and how you connect with your nature and what language you use to describe it. But it's the same. It's supposed to be the same, pretty much. But the point I was also going to say is that what I'm finding out is that, man, this was commonplace amongst many interior African cultures. I'm reading a book now called The Pale Fox, and that talks about the Dogon tribe. And so, again, it's just rediscovering that this large group of folk, also known as the Bantu, or earlier on the Twa, these people brought this from interior Africa, man, and this walked on up the waterways.
Move back from your mic some, Eric. Move back from your mic some.
On up to Kemet. So, because
move back from your mic a little bit. Stay back from your mic some, because when you move up, yeah. So, because when you move up, that's when it starts fucking up.
Okay.
So go back to the bank. Go back to the bank.
The Bantu, one of the larger tribes, they describe them as the Bantu right now, but you can call them the Twa or the Khoisan. These folks had, from interior Africa and sub-Saharan Africa, had already understood this concept, already described it. So this was a unified belief system, no matter where these people traveled. It's changed names and changed descriptions as groups of people grew. The numbers of people grew, population grew. And so, but it traveled with them. So if you look on the map and then look south, down in Central Africa and South Central Africa, then you travel that up. And that's kind of where the direction that knowledge and information went. It traveled that way. So from the south, the southern, what you call the beginning of the Nile, the upper Nile, and travel on up towards the Mediterranean. People and information travel in that direction. So it's not surprising when I see the Dogon who was worshiping a constellation that is not even visible to other folk. They was worshiping a constellation that we now know as the dog star or the Sirius. So, hey man, there's been a great connection between humanity and the study above and the study below. So we just got to keep doing that, keep pushing it, and it's right in front of us. Everything we must know and what we need to know is right in front of us.
Yes, sir.
You froze up.
Hey, Jared, you want to say
right
something?
on.
Hold up, we ain't done.
Oh, my bad.
No, I'm set. That's it. I'm good. I'm a mute. Go ahead.
No, because man, you can't be done. You can't be done.
Well, it's just a lot, it's a lot, man. Like I said, because the journey continues, and there's, you can specify and go into certain specific subjects of this matter, but there's a lot. There's a lot of information. You're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of years of information, man. Thousands of years of information. So, I mean, to try to say, okay, what's the one way? No, if you study nature, that's going to be your biggest teacher right there.
Right,
and align yourself with nature. Align yourself with nature. First and foremost, do that. And then look up some damn time.
And that's what they did. They studied nature. That's how
that's my point.
Nature. That's how they got to where it was at. So I mean,
And it's just, but see, when you come from somewhere where you don't have those animals in your backyard to study, then that looks foreign to you when you see somebody make an image of an animal that they see all the time and take attributes of that animal to describe their own persona, or to describe the persona that they want to attribute want to have, want to obtain. For instance, the courage of a lion. Well, damn, you want to have the courage of a lion when you got a baby and your wife to protect from them damn hyenas.
Hold on. Hold on.
Do something
You broke up.
too.
Hold on. You broke up from the hyenas.
Why?
Start from there.
Okay, think about this.
Start back from the hyenas.
No, that was just an example of why you would want to have the courage of a lion, because in nature, you know, the lion, more so than not, he will go up against a hyena and be very, very, you know, aggressive on a hyena, and will, if he got a chance, kill him. You know, so having that kind of courage is the man's like to personify. But also in other animals, you see things from the jackal to the hippo to the scarab beetle. If you see these animals, you watch them, you watch how the scarab beetle moves dung, and how the scarab beetle climbs up on top of the dung to recenter itself with the sun, to find his way right back to where his nest. Come on, man. That's going to that's going to open up a part of your brain you didn't know was there, just by studying something you don't understand. Because first and foremost, your brain will start trying to describe what you see. Period.
I got a quick question there. In your view, is the silverback to be revered more than the lion?
Okay, it depends on who was studying the silverback. If you was living amongst them, like a lot of the some people, well, a lot of the Bantu people lived amongst the silverbacks. Hell, they lived alongside them, still do in some cases. So they may use him and personify him because they watch how he tear up trees and protect shit and strong as heck and, you know, that kind of thing. So they may take some attributes of him to describe themselves or describe what they would like to be. So, but if you were living on the plains where you saw more lions do their thing, then yeah, you're gonna study lion more. It just makes sense. Geography plays a big part of what you were worshiping, studying, and had knowledge of. Period. But if you know what I was also tripping about is that of all the studies I've seen and I've studied, I've not seen any major descriptions of not just, I'm talking about sea creatures, whales, sharks, anything like that. Now, catfish, Nile perch, the tilapia, you see those in ancient art. But I just wonder how much, you know, where they mess with, I'm sure just being on the ocean, you're going to see some whales turn. You're going to see images of manatees or something. But for whatever reason, it didn't make it to a lot of the art that I've seen. And, you know, and I don't know, Runoko Rashid, he goes around a lot, and I'm not seeing him show anything. Well, since he's passing, but he has a lot, and I'm not seeing anything that depicts. That's just a side note, but yeah, it has to do with studying nature and seeing what nature can teach you. You study bees long enough, you'll learn something about them. Study ants long enough, you'll learn something about them. Yeah, study termites long enough. Shit, and build your house based on how a termite build is.
We don't want that down here in AZ, baby. We don't want that noise down here in AZ. Them termites, man.
Look, if you built your house like a termite had here, your house would stay cool year round. Your house, you have a ventilation system, and no matter how hot it got outside, your crib would be about 73 degrees. If you built it like a termite, it ain't hot. It ain't hot. It is in Africa, and they live just fine and raise babies and just fine. But that's that's nature. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. So you saying, so what you told you, so your side note was you haven't found any literature, maybe except for by Runoko Rashid, about sea creatures.
Oh yeah, aquatic marine life, other than, like I say, shells and things like that, but like like the larger creatures that swam in the oceans and things like that. And it probably was of no interest because a lot of their studies were dealing with agriculture and the move effect things on the planet. So that was very important. So I guess that's what it seems to me what the extensive study was.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Jamie, you done busted a nut over here, boy. Excuse my language.
Hey,
I shouldn't have
hey,
used that depiction. My fault.
hey, hey, Jen, you want to say something about the presentation and whatever in the conversation?
Who was that?
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
She don't know
Somebody
if she
was
did.
back.
All right. What about Miss Carrie? Miss Carrie, you want to say something about it?
Yeah, sure. Woo-wee, you put in some work on that, Jamie. Wow, thank you. And you know how great it is to have Eric and Gerald and share their views with us and do some more explaining to me. I'm going to have to go through that slide by slide so I can remember and learn. I really, really appreciated this presentation, and I feel so happy to have this group. Every one of you have added so much to the presentation, and it made it so. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to research it and to look at it closer and go through your PowerPoint slide by slide. And we have all those books here, and it makes me excited to read them more and look at them and understand and remember. So thank you again, all of you.
Sweet. Thank you. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you know, that I just thought that we've done this before. We've done this before, right? But I'm just saying it's been a while since we've done it, right? I just
No, we
wanted to
ain't.
put
Hey, King, hold up just a second, man. We ain't done this.
no, but we kind of went through.
we,
We
we
kind of
went
went.
through.
We didn't go through this particular, but we went through a lot. But we've been through a lot of this.
We've been through a lot of it, man. But you really put this together well, man. And I think provided the content for this dialogue. You know, for what Gerald broke off with, what Eric assembled and shared and complimented and stuff like that, man. So I'm just saying, we did cover this on a number of occasions, but you really put this shit together, man. So go ahead.
I'm just saying, but I didn't like. I mean, it seemed like because uh 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 I was just wondering if it was going to be a little too where people wouldn't be able to understand it. You know what I mean? I ain't talking about us on the panel. I'm saying viewers
Again,
on Facebook, and YouTube. They're gonna be able to understand what I read.
ain't no question, man. And I
Right.
knew,
But
and
then when Gerald and the brother Eric elaborated, they made everything so much clearer. Right. It made everything so much clearer on. So I mean, I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much, both you brothers, man, and you too, because you bring it out.
hey, so when I called Jamie, me and Jamie talk a lot, right? But when I called him this last week, he wasn't focused on the conversation that we was having, right? He was focused on his work, and so I put that hot banner up there, on the different sites saying y'all need to come get this work, because he's attentive, right? He's attentive, but he wasn't focused on what we really focused on, right? What we usually focused on. He was focused on this presentation, man. So I'm glad it's just, all three. I got all three, you, Eric, and Gerald on the top screen, right? And so it's really representation of higher learning, man. That's what I'm all about, man. And then we got the queens in here, right? We got the queens in here, man. And to me, we talked about we represent a SAR. We are a SAR, right? but
right.
I ain't forgetting. But I ain't forgetting our set, right? And so I ain't forgetting these two queens up on here, right? No doubt about it, man. So big big ups, man. I got notes, man. Go ahead, Jamie, because I'm gonna get into these notes when you get done.
Okay, yeah. I just don't want it. Like I said, but because I know that sometimes when you read the little stuff out of the pyramid text, out of the corporate text, it's kind of hard to understand it, man. You gotta sometimes you gotta first you gotta put yourself in the context, and then you gotta I have to reread it and reread it and reread it. That's what I have to do, man. In order for me to, wait a minute, what? Okay, there we go. You know what I mean? And that's how, so I mean,
That's when the phone calls come.
right. And I mean, yeah, because I get it, but I have to reread it and reread it. I have to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so like, damn, man, something in here, man. Let me read this again. Something's here. You know what I mean? I feel it, man. Something here, man. You know what I mean? And but yeah, go ahead, Gerald. What you think, man?
Oh, that's what the ancestors was telling us when we deal with the myths. You gotta keep reading them and reading. You keep reading them and reading them, then the light gonna turn on. That's just one light. You can read it again, and you can be dealing with another subject, and another light gonna turn on. This shit is so deep. That's
Right,
why
man. It keep going. That's why I told Unc, man. I said it keeps going. This stuff keeps going and going and go. It never stops, King. It
the
does not
meta
stop.
the meta can be read on different levels. You can read it on one way, and then depends on your level of consciousness how it can mean something totally different.
Right.
It's levels of consciousness and what you are connected to. And that's what our ancient people, as somebody was saying, connected with our DNA. And when we all are remembering, and it makes us feel good, and for brothers and sisters to come into a room and to be building on this type of stuff, that's how that civilization in our valley was built. Our people love doing that. That's why we argue and fuss and write books and all that kind of thing. We love that. We
Yeah.
ain't about all that other gangster shit and all that other bullshit. We really about philosophy and trying to figure out the concept of what's up, what's going on. That's a deep meaning. Like, really, what level you on? What's going on? It's a higher level, depending on who I'm talking to, on what we finna talk about. If it's somebody that don't know nothing about nothing, ain't nothing going on. Somebody else who are active is gonna say, well, such and such did you know about this? It just depends what level you're on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably. Hey, I got work to do. I got work to do. Yeah, you boys gonna set me off, man. I got work to do.
It's the work. It's the work that we all have to do. It's that path. It's that becoming. It's the becoming. Know thyself. The Persian. Yeah. Walking into the light. Yeah, that's what we all doing.
Hey, so just a little side note, man. I was looking through the page, man, and through just the web page, man, and I found a few things. But one thing I found, I don't drink. I don't knock anybody that drink, but there was this liquor and it's called Pathfinder, right? And I'm thinking, damn, I won't go into that, but this is the Pathfinder right here. This is it, right? This is it.
Yeah.
That's just a little side note.
Yeah. Hey, go Unc, go ahead, man, and go through your list, King.
Let's see if Jen is back on first. Jen, you there? She'll tap in when she get ready. So I'm just like, I don't have anything profound to say. I just wrote down some stuff like that BNB stone. I don't know what that is. The BNB bird. I don't know what that is. And we got a great description of the Agdad. The eight primordial deities worship in Hermopolis. You guys touched on that. The offering cake. I don't know what that is. Right. the Enid, I'm familiar with that. You gave a great description of the what was in your slide was Tenem, and it said the gloom substituted for Amen in this verse. So, you know, I got to look up that gloom substituted, unless somebody has something to say about that. But let me go on. And I wrote down the call for text spell.
Hey, hold on. Before you keep going, let me address that. So Tenem. So you remember when I read, it was it was so it was Ra. So you had your heat. Then you had your you had your moisture. You had your darkness. You had your uh and then you had and then with Tenem was the black silk from the Nile that come from the flood, which is the most is the most fertile, right? Right. Yeah.
Right.
So that's that's what Tenem was. So that's why they replaced Amen with Tenem in that verse, because of his attribute
Correct.
was
Correct.
right. And that's what and that's how you and that's how that's what bore the Netchers, is what
Right.
it say, is what they're saying.
Yeah, yeah, and Tenem is the mightiest of all the Netchers. I get that. What threw me was the gloom substituted. That word, gloom substituted, because it's not separated. The gloom and substituted is not separated. It's grouped in one word. So, you know, that's good stuff. That's good explanation, Jamie. And then the water chaos. I think Gerald touched on some of that, but I need a deeper explanation of that. And then there was a great explanation, because, you know, I know about the JED, I know about the other articles that you see the Netchers with like this, right? Then they got one has like, you know, I don't want to say a flag, but you know, stuff hanging off it, and then another one. So that was a good depiction of the palm stem, the long life, and then it gave some other descriptions of it, right? But I can always go back and look at that. And then a tomb. Oh yeah, I was gonna hit on that a tomb. He spat his seed out, right? And so it was already explained by one of you two. Maybe Jamie read it about the, you all right? About the masturbation and stuff like that. And I know that the Hebrew Israelites uses that against Kemet, right? And so shoot the divine. I like the and I already know about Shu being the divine power of the created space, but I wrote it down anyways. And then what was cool was the Shu and Tefnut, the twins depicted in the zodiac, right? And also Shu, a depiction of the sun, and Tefnut of the moon. Where I typically related Ra as the sun and Haru as the moon, right? Something I read around along the way. So when I look at the moon, that's the shit that I do, right? And I already know Ra is the sun, but its Shu is a representation also of the sun, right? So this is what I really wanted to hit on was Newt and Geb, right? Because Newt is depicted as the father of the sky, which is the female, right? What we call Mother Earth, right? And that always throws, right? That's the
She's the mother of
interpret
the sky.
the mother sky. What we call where used to saying Mother Earth, right? Where Geb is Father Earth. So to me, that's an insult, right? Not the Geb as Father Earth, but what we typically, and I've said this over and over in our cast, right? You know, it just seems, you know, they changed the game again, you know, but we buy into it as Newt being Mother Earth, right? So to say, right? And so we get the clarification as Newt being Mother Scott. And so I just wanted to bring that up. We don't really got hit on that, man. That's just my own thing. And then Seth was worshipped before the prehistoric times. And then they come with that bullshit creation story, 65. I'm giving some years, right? 6,500 years, right? And before prehistoric times, right? Let alone all the other civilizations, right? And then dynasties, all that stuff, right? So, and then I end with this. I got one more thing. After I salute Jared for serving the country, man. You know,
Right.
salute to you, King. Feel me? Yeah.
Hey, so
Hold on. Let me get one more thing, man, because in
okay.
reference, I got to pull it up though. Give me just a second. Just a quick second. So something you read, Jamie. Just gotta pull it up here and read it real quick. So here it says, Geb, who acted as judge, the Sabbath, the Shabbat stone for, I'm just glancing over the example tells that nature is originally, so it said the Shabbat stone for example tells the Netzer originally decided to split control over Kemet equally between the two rivals, with Seth being the, I can't read that part, the being granted upper Kemet and Haru being granted lower Kemet. So I wanted to read that because what I said was what I pointed out to you guys was asking the question was they decided to separate Geb and Newt. So that's my bad. But they were just, that's saying that they wish they hadn't separated Kemet and you know, in those two parts with those two entities. I just wanted to correct myself live on that part that I brought out. Because you quickly said, because Jamie,
time, go ahead, my bad.
no, because Jamie quickly said, no, I don't think so. So you're right. You're right. So go ahead, King. Go ahead,
in
Gerald.
ancient times, they looked at Nut as the sky, and they looked at Jeb as the earth. So they had a father earth and a mother sky. Jeb was just still would be just looked at as the earth. We call it the motherland when we're dealing with Africa. But they looked at the earth itself with the mountains going up, trees growing up. They would show that as almost phallic symbols shooting up toward the sky. So sometimes they'll show a depiction of Jeb and earth and Nut. And if you understand the myths, it's a myth prior to that. They were once together. Jeb and Earth got separated because for the birth of Set, Elder Haru, and Nepes. Tahuti. Again, this all mythology kind of stuff. And they were separated. Those Neteru could be born. Then those Neteru came down to earth, and you start hearing about stories about them, which when you hear about nature. The comedian studied nature. The comedian studied nature. They will watch nature. When you get into the humans, when you get into a Saw, a Set, and that there, humans got a nature too. They talking about our human nature when they studying them. Sometimes you'll see them connected to the earth some kind of way, like a Saw might have been connected to the fertile Nile, Set connected to the desert, and little different things like that. But you better figure out what they talking about when they talking about yourself or your human nature when they playing back and forth. Like I said, according to your consciousness, they could play with the myths. They can tell that myth, and you can be thinking it one way until you got initiated. And again, it was a lot of stuff was told about Kemet was from white people that came later who was not initiated. So they telling what they think they know at a way later time. Our people, way back in the day, you had a basic, what they call the esoteric, where you can believe that these ancient beings with alligator heads and all this kind of stuff walked around, or you can wise up and ask that question, and then you will be initiated into what they call the mystery schools. The mystery schools is the same thing as it's when people go to college, they're supposed to go get, it's a high institutional learning. Then you got these little fraternities and this, that, and the other, or the Masons, or the whatever secret. They're supposed to raise a person up to a certain level. You know, when you go, if you was in a fraternity, they raising you up, you're crossing the sands. Kemet itself was that. For the whole ancient world, people came from everywhere to try to get initiated. They would not initiate foreigners at one time. They wouldn't do it. You was effed. You know what I'm saying? But that raising up that black people want to get into a fraternity and want to do the Masons and want to do the Eastern Stars and want to get in these secret societies and learn a little something. That again, going back to that's who we are by nature. We always want to be raised up. We always want to know about our higher self and separate our higher from our lower self. The Hermaket, what they call the Sphinx, is an animal body it's showing a higher and a lower self. An animal nature and a godly nature sitting right in front of us. Yeah, you're higher than your lower self. You know, the whole thing is when they talking about Heru and Set. Set represents your lower self, Heru represents your higher self. You had just brought up a thing about they went down to them courts and Jeb said he was gonna let it be separated. It's more to that myth. That's after Asar gets killed, Set takes over the country and he separates the country. That's the only way he can rule, by separation. And Jeb says he gonna let it do that. That some kind of way they scared of Set. They don't want to mess with Set. But Asar tells them, all y'all gotta come to the underworld. All y'all gonna come see me. You know, so it made them change their judgment. Later throughout the myth, Heru and Set keeps fighting. It's not that Heru ever beats Set. It's that Set uses her wisdom. Heru trying to mess with Set, and she over there acting like she's crying. Set is the hero of the whole story. Set is one, when somebody said earlier, I love Set, I know I'm Asar. Asar is already dead. Asar got killed at the beginning. He dead. Set is the one that goes on the travel. Set gives birth to Heru. Set first is a birth to who on your shirt and poop. Y'all know the myth? I don't know if y'all know the myth. I might be talking too crazy.
No, keep going. Go ahead and give it.
Okay, you got this song in Resurrection.
I know about it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Asar
I'm
runs
familiar
the
with it.
country.
Yes.
He leaves. Set gets upset. Buries him in the coffin. Before that happens, Asar and Nephet have a fling. Supposedly, Set is he can't procreate. So Set wants to have a Nephet, who is Set's sister. They twins. He she wants to have a child. And so she tricks Saw into thinking that she's a set, and they have Anpu first. Anpu is that discerner, that one that's he can go into the dirt and find life he can find life out of death, just like the vulture. Wherever it's death, we can go and look up and you can find life out of it. That's us digging. That's the first thing that's actually born. Is Anpu, that's discernment, like something wrong. They telling me something about my people. They've been telling me something wrong this whole goddamn time. Something is wrong. Until you have that discernment that something wrong, then you with the program. You in the matrix. You rolling along.
Rolling right with
Whether it's religion or whatever, you rolling along. They done put this program on us, buried our history. You don't care about it. The hell with them Egyptians, the hell with some Africa. You just don't care. But when that discernment kick in some kind of way, you start looking. And that's what the first part of that myth tell you, that Anpu is born. Then Asar is killed. Aset starts to mourn. Aset starts to mourn, and she starts to go look for her husband. That's us going on that journey. She starts to look for her goddamn husband. Look for her husband. Look for her husband. She finds him. He's been put in a tree in some foreign land. She turned into a wet nurse to try to save her husband. Some kind of way that don't happen. And she gets caught while she's turning into this bird. And she has to reveal herself. She said, that's my husband in that trunk right there y'all got. When they keep talking about this trunk, they keep talking about this Djed pillar, the backbone of Asar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we stand up on. So she say, that's my goddamn husband, and they give her husband back. When she get her husband, he's already dead, but some kind of way they do this immaculate conception. Boom, Heru is born. So Heru is born from someone that's already done passed. You'll never hear about Asar no more, because Heru is Asar. Asar is in the underworld. Heru is Asar, but he's a little baby at first. So now you got this little knowledge about Kimmy, but you a baby. You finna get your behind kicked. You don't know enough because you just learning about it and you want to go run your mouth and acting like you tough and you try to say something. You just a baby. You finna go through some troubles. So
right.
It's a growing process. And that's what they talking about Set and Heru. Keep going back at it. And Set at one time, he get the best Heru get the best of Set. And he spear him. And Set say, well, damn, that's my brother. You can't kill him. And she let him go. And Heru gets so mad that he slap her head off. Pow! It's almost like you fighting with this battle. And then your older people or something, when you think you got them, they tell you to chill out. So you almost get disrespectful toward the ancestors about the way that they telling you how to do it or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you'll hear about Aset getting a different head. Heru slapped her goddamn head off. After Heru slapped her head off, Set come and take his eye.
Take his eye out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he loses his eye.
Yeah.
And he also castrates Set at the same time. Tahuti comes back in, thought wisdom, come give him his eye back. He got that wisdom. Now he older, figured out, and that's what they call it's a never-ending battle. So this fight that we going back and forth, it never ends. It's our Set that sits on a bench one day. Set goes over to our Set and say, what you crying for? What's wrong? And she tells the story. My son, his throne has been taken away and he's still alive and blah, blah, blah. And he say, that's not supposed to happen. And if he's the original throne, the originator of the throne, nobody can take it from him. Once he says this is, ego finally acknowledging that your higher, you got to submit. It's been a battle this whole time. Your ego got to submit. And that's when she says, okay, Set, Hero never won the battle. Set finally admitted that Hero is the owner of the throne. So this battle that we having with ourselves or anything that we fight, it's a part of ourselves that has to submit. It's not that you ever kill your ego, okay? Your ego has to submit. Once your ego submits, then you'll hear later in the story that Set is with Ra and fighting off evil. Later, he's with Ra. So sometimes we say we got to kill Set and this, that, and other. It has a proper function at its proper time. And that's just the egoish, that's the selfishness, that's the one to battle. That's the, sometimes, like say, even when we get into this knowledge of self, we get to, instead of building, we want to argue against other people. You know, let's have the debates against this, that, and the other. And again, I was a part of all this at one time. Been through it, but it's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? You thinking you breaking somebody down, but they finna double down into that ignorance. You only do something like this here, you get with other people of like minds and you build. Somebody, you were saying earlier, hey, I put this information out, I didn't know if it's, no, if you got the information, it's time to put it out, people will catch up. Imagine if Dr. Clark or any of those said, no, we got to wait till they don't understand what I'm talking about. No, they had to put it out. Even from Carter G. Woodson, dealing with Black History Week, they had to put it out. We still catching up. We'll never really catch up. But you got to put it out. Once you understand it and you got a platform and able to put it out, people will catch up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
those that are with it, that's who it's for at that time. That's when sometimes we get trying to save everybody. You're not trying to save nobody. You saved yourself. You got here, I got here because I wanted to know, not that somebody saved me. I remember when I was younger, a lot of people came at me with the knowledge when I wasn't ready for it. Get the F out of my face. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about no Pharaoh. I don't want to hear about it. It's not until I was ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You know? So, but the people just put it out. You can't wait on the people. And that's my spiel. Power. Sorry for talking so long.
No, you're
Hey
good.
man,
You're good.
that's good business,
Hey,
man.
hey, but
Go ahead,
I do want to say though, but you know, because like in the beginning though, you know, not in the beginning, but early on, Seth had a big following, man. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of, you know, he had a really big following, man. You know what I mean? That's where you get, you know, that's where you get a lot like Seti the first. You get Ty Seti, you get all that, man. All that from Set, man. All that come from him. You know what I mean? So I mean, so he had a big following. He wasn't, you know, people sleep on Set. He was very important to the pantheon.
Right. Whenever you mostly get into Set, you get into us almost dealing with a fighting concept. You'll hear about Set at the beginning because that's before the unification of Kemet. So it's some fighting going on. Whenever you hear about Set, he ruling, it's some fighting going on.
That's right.
And they get into that type of. You'll hear about the foreigners also came later because they was liking the fighting and they adopted the Set thing and they kind of put a negative image. But Set, any of our deities, when some people say, "Oh, Set is the devil," no, we don't have no devil shit like that. All of our deities, all of those are divine. They are divine attributes.
That's right. Gotta have them.
Attributes. And then again, you'll see Set is with Ra, and he's going after Apep every night. That's what they say. Set ain't no, no. And again, you got the followers of Set, with the Shem Set. Again, I'm drawing a blanket. I don't want to be incorrect on a thing, but going way back to the ancient times, you know. I think when you deal with one of the ancient myths dealing with that Sekhmet story, when Ra supposed to flooded the world. There might have been something going on with that at that time. You know.
Well,
Yeah, but you always hear, I always understand that it was some conflict between our people at that time, you know.
yeah, but yeah, because like I said, man, I remember, man, reading, man, how like Taseti was kind of named, came from Set, the name Taseti, and that's an old name, man.
Okay, did you ever hear what they'll call it associated with the land of the what? I don't know if you ever heard of calling Taseti associated with the land of the boat.
The land of what?
Yeah.
Land of the boat.
I read that on that was in the presentation.
And when you see the land of the boat, you're gonna see them, they're gonna be having them, they're gonna have them, yeah, they talking about some fighting, that's some power. They ready to defend and to battle. But like somebody had said earlier, when we deal with Kemet, and what they finding out later, like that the civilization moved up. Most of them people came from the south, as was said earlier. It never came from the north down. They came from the south. But it was some pre-people in the Nile that were already Nubian. It's not like there was no really takeover. There was some people already there that was Nubians.
That's right.
Yeah. So you had some Nubians already there. And then you had, from after the floods of what happened in the Sahara, when the Sahara started drying up and it drove people to the Nile. When they saying that, the Sahara was filled with all kinds of, it wasn't no one type of African. That's what people keep getting it mixed up, like it was just one type of African. It was all of them. They were all in the Sahara. And when they moved into the Nile, it was all types of Africans that moved into the Nile. You know, so it was always this cultural infinity or sameness amongst all of us at one time. And when we got together in the Nile, we just took it to a goddamn another level where they think that aliens did that shit. We all got together and it was all on one accord, and they want to say this shit was out of this world.
Yeah, Prince should have been on for this. So I put up a video. It's one of the newer videos. Like one of the first, I don't know, somebody could have put up some while we're on here, but it's one of the first videos newer videos that I put up. And the reason I put it up is because the cast said that there was no solid, I'm paraphrasing, no solid Black people. They were all mixed. I put it up for that reason, just to catch the attention of people, right? Because we know that's bullshit. Because all the rest of the shit, the majority of the shit that he was talking about, resonated well with me, right? But that part did, right? And then and I know damn well from all the research and just from being in Africa, it's all Black, right? It's all Black. But he was pointing out that there was, a mixture, right? And I put stuff up like that to see if people watch it and will comment on a particular part. It ain't that I'm all bought in. I'm trying to stir up some conversation, right? So you just made a point of that, right? So again,
Well, it's more research coming out that these people have been holding on their research since the 90s. They've been knowing this here information since the 90s. But, dealing with the DNA and whatnot, they can't get past it no more. They used to try to play around with that DNA coming out. It's all going back to, like I say, some of the oldest Africans, some of the sand, the koi, what the hell that fucking DNA doing? Yeah, that's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
they
children.
always say, pygmy in their shit.
Oh,
Like,
they call them the pygmy.
Yeah,
They
so
call them
like,
pygmy, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
Say that again, Eric. Say that part again, Eric.
I say the people the people of the Congo who call themselves pygmy. The Greeks call them pygmy, but they're Twa people. They are some of the oldest folks on the planet. But they and part of the same, I believe, haplogroup, the Bantu. Yeah. the bigger group, the Bantu. But yeah, old folks, man, some old people. Yes, sir. Old folks. Hey, man, yeah, remember I showed you them bones, man. The Shango bone is old.
Yeah, the Shango bone.
Shit.
Shango bone.
Yeah, they got the Shango bone, the Lamamba bone. That's right.
Lamumba. Yes, sir.
That's right.
So
Yeah, and
that
then-
lets you know how old civilization is. But like that lets you know how old civilization is. What I believe happened as the groups got together, you know, everybody brought what they had from where they were from. And I believe, like you said, once they hit Kemet, they was already knowledged up. They just started building. They didn't get to Kemet and say, hey, let's learn how to build. Oh, no, because you got more pyramids down south in the Sudan. So that lets you know the direction traveling the way it did. But when they got to the peak, boy, oh,
they'll come back in.
them boys that they were doing, you know, and that video, that one that the French guy did, I got it. I think I sent it to you guys a while back. But that one they did, and they showed a recreation of how them brothers was learning how to measure and come up with that meter, and how that pyramid was, you know, when the color was, you know, coated with limestone, that was a damn beacon of light, brother. You ain't no damn telling how far you can see from that damn thing. You know, a beacon, let alone could have been a source of energy. That's what some people say, but nobody want to talk about that. We don't talk about that like that. Everybody don't talk about that. That's what they say. But anyway, when he mentioned the mystery system and the Brother Gerald, when he mentioned the system, yeah, that ain't for everybody. No, that wasn't for everybody. And Dr. Ben talks a lot about that as well. But no, that wasn't for everybody. Once you was in it, your eyes was gonna be open. I tell you that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jamie
Once you taught.
Jamie showed something a while ago, man, about the Twa, and then over in Ireland, I believe, Jamie, and then they tried to, and then they said that the Druids.
That's who they were, the leprechauns.
Right.
Yeah,
Talking about St. Patrick.
Yeah, St. Patrick.
Yeah. Leprechauns. Ireland ain't no damn gold. That's what they was talking about. That's the story. Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly. That's what they was messing with.
That's it.
Yeah, and then they threw the Druids in there, right? The Druids in, and from my further study, the Druids and the Twa are actually the same people when they were saying that the Druids was the white people. Right.
Oh, okay.
So just a little side thing, man. You know, just a little side note. I don't want to get off track here. I mean, I'm just remembering.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so
that's right.
Whenever they show the deity best, y'all ever see the little small deity?
Oh yeah.
That's who he look like.
Yeah, that's the Twa. That's the Twa.
That's the Twa all over the world.
Hey, so is Ptah.
The oldest image of a god that resembles the image of the people.
Ptah is a Twa. He a Twa too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I remember looking at Best a long time ago, right? And that looks spooky as Jamie. I still think it was the
just like the people with the acidic stomachs and stuff like that. Same folks. Folks.
Yeah. So I still think it was the book of the book of Coming Forth by Day, but it really could have been the coffin text that I tripped off of because I got both of them. I think it was
the coffin text because one of them.
Yeah, you know why? Because I agree with you because I put that coffin text up because also what you said was, man, you can get in trouble, showing this one around. So I put that coffin text up. I still got to find it, but it's right in my closet in one of my bags, right? Because I put that motherfucker up.
No, because people don't want to. People don't. People get a misconception of these books, man. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I said, man, just you have be having company, man. You probably, if you want to keep them as friends, King, you probably want to put that book up. You know what I mean?
Hey, so I put it in my little space, but I just gotta go through a few bags, man, to see which one it's in, because I put it undercover. I still got it in the package that it came in.
Yeah,
I opened that motherfucker up, looked through it, seen the spells. It was a coffin text. Seen the spells, and I called Jamie. I said, "Nigga, I ain't gonna be able to do this, man. I can't bring it."
hey, man, I fell out, man. That was so funny, man. Hey, because he was serious. Hey, he was so serious, man. He was not playing, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but yeah, man. So, hey, Jen, I was just, hey, are you there? You there? Maybe not. All right. Well,
Hey, so
yeah.
we can probably end it if you unless somebody else.
Well, what I wanted to do, man, is I wanted to show this video about what they're doing in the schools, man. It's short. It's a short video. I just want y'all to see, man, and just don't make a mistake about it, King. This shit is coming to schools near you. Trust and believe that, King. All right, this shit is coming to schools near you. All right, hey, so just watch this, man, and let me know what y'all think. Uh-oh.
Volume.
Mandating
Start it
that
over.
Florida done it. They are now mandating that schools teach slavery as beneficial. Let's go to the first video.
Do not, for the love of God, tell kids that slavery was beneficial, because I can guarantee you it most certainly was not. Thank you.
Education and civil rights advocates are slamming new Black history teaching standards in Florida. Under the new rules, middle school teachers must now include lessons, quote, how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit.
It's inaccurate, it's ahistorical. Critics are calling this a big step backwards and saying it's a disservice to Florida students because they're not going to learn the full truth and the full accurate truth of American history.
This is insanity on top of insanity. Parents, advocates of all different backgrounds proclaimed this is wrong. Do not do it. None of them listen. Why? Because they are under the direction of a madman named Governor Ron DeSantis. And they themselves are feckless leaders in positions of authority. Here it is.
And I am very concerned by these standards, especially some of the notion that, enslaved people benefited from being enslaved is an accurate and a scary standard for us to establish in our educational curriculum.
The proposed changes specifically for elementary and middle school students leave out the last 150 years of Black history. Where Black history is taught provides a simplified and sterilized version of history.
The new standards suggest that violence by Black residents in defense of their lives and homes as they were surrounded by armed mobs and flames, and as they were forced to flee their homes or be shot or burned, are to be included as a seemingly equal part of the standard. This is egregious if you understand what happened to the Black residents in Ocoee in 1920.
First of all, I want to say any kind of standards that indicate that slavery benefited Black people is such an insult. My husband is Black. My daughter is Black. And the thought that slavery benefited them, how could that be taught? The fact that the pushback to Reconstruction benefited them, the fact that Jim Crow benefited them. How can we teach that to students? How can someone look at a child with a straight face and say that slavery benefited Black people?
All right, members, we have the motion on the table to approve the two rules. All in favor signify by saying aye. 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 All opposed, nay. Show the amendment approved. Members, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back.
This is adverse to the sentiment of the majority of Americans. They do not agree with this. The majority of white America does not agree with this curriculum adoption. Obviously, Black Americans do not agree. But let's count the hypocrisy in all of this. As I said from day one, this is the plan of Governor DeSantis to eliminate diversity, to eliminate inclusion. He is literally making conversations at the kitchen table of racist law. This is what racist people say inside of their homes. I don't know what black people are upset about. I mean, you know, there's a lot of benefits they receive from slavery. Here's another hypocrisy. They're not teaching how slavery or the criminal murderous enterprise known as slavery, they're not teaching how it benefited white slave masters, nor their descendants. They're only teaching it in the context of how it benefited black people, enslaved Africans who were ripped from their homelands, denied their opportunity of individualism, made to benefit one entity alone, wealthy white men. Let's go to it. Middle school students in Florida will soon be taught that slavery gave black people a, and I quote, personal benefit because they developed skills. After the Florida Board of Education approved new standards for African American history on Wednesday, high school students will be taught an equally distorted message that a deadly white mob attack against black residents of Ocoee, Florida in 1920 included acts of violence perpetrated against and by African Americans. Dozens of black residents were killed in the massacre, which was perpetrated to stop them from voting. According to members of the board, that distorted portrayal of the racist massacre is factually accurate. Marilyn Marger, a member of the board appointed by none other than Governor Ron DeSantis, said at the board's meeting in Orlando on Wednesday that everything is there in the new history standards and the darkest parts of our history are addressed. The Tallahassee Democrat reported a majority of the speakers who provided public testimony on the planned curriculum are opposed to it, warning that crucial context is omitted, atrocities are glossed over. And in some cases, students were taught to actually blame the victim, being black people. I am very concerned by these standards, especially some of the notion that enslaved people benefited from being enslaved. Can I say this? What the hell is Biden saying about it? Hell, we have a vice president that is a person of color. Is there a massive messaging campaign against this type of insanity in our nation? No, it is not. Democrats are very good at making you feel like, well, we feel with you and this is outrageous. There's more. When I see the standards, I am very concerned, says State Representative Thompson. Very concerned. If I were still a professor, I would do what I did very infrequently. I'd have to give this a grade I for incomplete. It recognizes that we have made an effort, we've taken a step. However, this history needs to be comprehensive, it needs to be authentic, and it needs additional work. When you look at the history currently, it suggests that the Ocoee massacre was sparked by violence from African Americans. That's blaming the victim, the Democrat warned. The Florida governor signed the Stop Woke Act last year to just do that, restricting how issues of race are taught in public schools and workplaces, and keeping with the administration's crusade against wokeness. Education Commissioner Manny Diaz defended the new standards against criticism, saying, quote, "This is an in-depth deep dive into African American history, which is clearly American history, as Governor DeSantis has said, and what Florida has done to expand it." Paul Burns, the Florida Department of Education's Chancellor of K-12 public education, also insisted the new standards provide an exhaustive representation of African American history. Our standards are factual, objective standards that really teach the good, the bad, and the ugly. He was quoted as saying Wednesday by the Florida Phoenix. He denied the new standards portray slavery as beneficial. Although education officials say teachers are meant to expand upon the new curriculum in the classroom, critics say teachers are unlikely to do that for fear of being singled out, possibly punished for being too woke. The Florida Education Association, the state's largest teachers union, called the new standards, quote, a big step backward for our state that has required teaching African-American history since 1994. In a statement after Wednesday's vote, Derek Johnson, president and CEO of the NAACP, also condemned the new curriculum, saying in a statement, our children deserve nothing less than truth, justice, and the equity our ancestors shed blood, sweat, and tears for. Today's action by the Florida state government are an attempt to bring our country back to a 19th century America where Black life was not valued, nor our rights protected. It is imperative that we understand that the horrors of slavery and Jim Crow were a violation of human rights and represent the darkest period in American history. We refuse to go back, the head of the NAACP said. Next time somebody says, what did they mean by make America great again? Please understand they are providing the answer, front and center, right now. Just sister thoughts.
Yeah, it's historical erasure. And if that weren't bad enough, what it truly does is show just how racist and white supremacist Ron DeSantis, his regime.
Yeah, I didn't want her to be putting a little political move in, but I'm just saying, man, like, family, all I'm gonna say is y'all better wake your ass up, man. Y'all better wake your ass up, man. Because this ain't gonna stop here. This shit just started, man. Yeah, and this shit gonna keep going. Listen, man, y'all better wake your ass up, man. Y'all gonna come to a point where your grandkids ain't gonna know where the fuck they came from, man. Excuse my language, man. And they ain't gonna know what happened. They ain't gonna have a clue what happened, man. They ain't gonna know, man. Your grandkids ain't gonna know, man. Your great grandkids definitely ain't gonna know. They gonna have to look, they gonna have to go through the history book. Somebody gonna have to write about it. Like we doing right now, King. We doing it now. We doing the same thing right now. That they same thing. We studying Kemet right now, King. We studying what we lost, and because we didn't know, right? Because they erased it, and that's the same thing that they doing here. And now, 100 years from now, hey, the history is everybody is going to be taught, and this is what's going to be known. It's going to be known that slavery benefited the slaves. Listen, man, that's what's going to be known. That's what, and then so when somebody comes and tell them, no, it didn't benefit them none. They did this to them. They did this to them. You're a damn lie. That's what they're gonna be telling you. You a damn lie. Hey, they did not. They got skills. Right?
That's crazy.
Listen, man. This is what's happening right now, man, and we don't even see it. We don't even see it. You're trying to figure out what's going on in Israel right now, man. What happened to the Israelites? We trying to figure that out, man. Is we Israelites? Yeah, whatever, man. Look what these people doing, man. 100 years from now, you ain't even gonna be worried about what it was the Israelites. You gonna be wondering if it was ever slavery. Did slavery ever happen? We always talk about did Exodus happen? Did Exodus happen? Huh?
No.
Prove that Exodus happened. You gonna have to prove that fucking slavery happened, King. You gonna have to prove it. You gonna have to prove it. Listen, man, family, y'all better wake up. Y'all better get your ass up, man, and pay attention to what these people doing, man. Okay, you better pay attention, man. These people is not playing.
Jamie, send that to me early, man.
Yeah, y'all better pay attention, man. These people is not playing, and then they doing it in your face. This the cold thing. They do it doing it in your face, and ain't nothing. And then this dude is, I mean, you know, like, listen, man, I'm not political. I don't vote. I ain't into it. I'm just saying this is good. This dude is running to be president, and this, you know, he's running to be president. So I'm just saying, King, just think about that for a second. Whoa, just think, just think about that for a second. I mean, just think about it. What you gonna try to erase next, man? You doing that shit right now in our face. You doing it in our face, man. You erasing history and rewriting it right now in our face, man. And we just sitting here, man. Ain't nothing we could do, man. Listen, man. You going family? Hey, look here. Every first Sunday every month, we have a children book read on African history. Okay, real history. Okay, about real historical African Black people. Okay, and the accomplishment, kings and queens, family. Right? Listen, man. Look, hey, you can win a free book. All you got to do is put your pay it, join. Look, come and join in, and listen to the book read. Put your name in the chat. We do a drawing. You can win, and you go and we put your name. You get a free book mailed to your address. Free book, African book, man. Hey, you got one by you?
I can get one.
Hey, listen, man. Look, man, and listen. These ain't just no little book. This ain't no garbage books, man. These are real live good books, man. I don't know if y'all ain't gonna better see it on my screen, man.
Yeah, I got you. Let me
But
flip screen. Let me flip the screen.
we'll see if we can see.
I got it.
Can y'all see that? Listen, man, we got good books, man. Y'all see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, listen, man, we got good books, man. This is good books, King. They got good. Hey, man, it's you know,
Put some light
look
on.
at that, man. Look at that. You know, look at these books, man. Like these is not no play. We got books for all ages, King. All ages, man. But the next, this Sunday coming up, my granddaughter is 5 years old. She won the last. She won the book. The last book read. She won the book. She's 5 years old. She's getting ready to read the book. The first Sunday of next
August.
Yeah, next month, right? Listen, man, she's 5 years old, King. 5, right? She's gonna read this book. But look at the books, man, that we got. They're not, and I got books for 13, 14, 15, and they ain't no long drawn out books. These some real good books, man, short stories. There they go. There's some of them right there, right? Listen, man, all ages, King. Listen, man, we doing this. Don't cost you nothing. We ain't asking for nothing. We ain't asked for no donations. You didn't know PayPal and Cash App and none of that other stuff, right? All we asking for is you to pay attention. Just pay attention. Join the book read. You know what I'm saying? And put the baby's name in the chat. Let the baby get a chance to win the book. Okay? All we need is an address, and you're gonna get the book. That's it, man. You know what I'm saying? We done mailed out how many books? We done mailed out how many books, man?
We done lost count, man.
Yeah, we done mailed out so many books, man. Listen, man. All I'm saying is this, man. Family, wake up, pay attention, man. These people is not playing. They're not. You know, they're doing it in your face. They don't give a shit about you or your history. Okay, but they embarrass. See, it was a time. There was a time, King family. There was a time when they were so proud of slavery and what they did. They took pictures. They had postcards. Y'all remember that shit, man? Y'all remember that? They remember they had pictures with the brother hanging, man. You know what I'm saying? Castrated. You know what I'm saying? Blood dripping down his leg, right? Y'all remember that, man? They had pictures, man. They had postcards like that. They had postcards with the babies with the alligators. Y'all remember that, man, with the African babies, man? Yeah, man.
Definitely.
They was proud. Now, now for some reason, they ain't proud no more. Now for some reason, they don't want you to know this no more. You know what I mean? Because it's making the white kids feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they don't
that
mind tearing the niggas up. They don't
no,
mind
yeah,
tearing
no, you don't matter, man. You don't matter. You never did, King. I'm just saying. But what we got, but so it's our it's up to us, King. We got to push it. We ain't got no choice now, King, because now they doing it in our face. They taking it and they rewriting it. You see what they doing? They rewriting it. They rewriting history, King. They rewrite in your face today, 2023, 24. They rewriting it, King. Right? Right now, man. They're doing it. They did it. They already passed the law. They did it last Wednesday. Last Wednesday. It passed last Wednesday, King. Yeah. So now, and I remember I showed you another one, man. It's against the law, dude. It's a particular curriculum that you have to teach. Other you go outside that curriculum, your
You're going to
ass,
jail.
you going to jail. You're going to jail, King. Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, man, they ain't playing. They serious about it, King. They real serious about it. So this is what I'm saying. Here you go, man. Here you go all over again. Colonization. They finna colonize our history now, King. And
Yeah.
listen, all over again. Listen, man, that's what it is. It's all over. It's just on another level, man. You know, we're at war now. We've been at war. We've been at war. You know, agriculturally. Uh, 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 Medically, you know, through you know what I'm saying, through agriculture, medical, and I mean, what's that shit?
Vaccination.
Vaccinations. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, we at war, King. So you know you can't eat shit. You gotta watch what you eat now. You know you got they feeding you plastic food, shit that they some
3D food.
some 3D
3D
type
print.
shit.
3D
Yeah, some
print.
3D type
3D
shit
print.
that they
You seen
feeding
that?
you
You
now.
seen that, Gerald? You seen that
Oh, yeah.
3D printed meat?
Yeah, I've been watching. I'm woke. I'm gonna tell y'all just one thing, and I gotta get up out of here. We're just dealing with the education. The education system is for their kids. We can't get into an argument over that. It's always been about their kid. They don't care if we get caught up into what they learning when they got their education. That's war with us, and they've been letting you know they still teach Columbus the stuff. You know we've been having crazy arguments. You know about Columbus discovering America. That's for their kids. That makes sense.
It does.
Oh, ain't
They
no
want to
question.
make that. So when they're teaching about slavery was good for them, what they had heard last year or 2 years ago when the vaccinations, when they went crazy by CRT, that they was teaching about slavery and they made their kids feel bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
to teach them about that, they children didn't know what to do. I didn't do it. You know, well, it's just, we ain't saying you did it, but it's a, you know, it goes with history. They did not want to hear that.
Right.
So
Right.
again, they saying they're gonna protect their children, and if they gotta teach it, they're gonna teach it was beneficial to blacks, just to make them feel good.
That's right.
If our kids get caught up in that, that's why we're supposed to have our own curriculums. That's what our teachers and scholars been trying to tell us. You gotta have an Afrocentric education. You gotta be African-centered. If you're not, you're getting caught up into theirs. Everybody else got their center. Jewish got their center. Everybody else who classify themselves as something gonna have their center. But America is considered, and they fighting hard as hell. We are a white nation. We are a white Christian nation. Fuck what everybody else saying. Even if they say we're not supposed to be Christian, we Christian. They showing you that in the politics and how they doing with the abortion and everything. They fighting hard as hell to try to lie and say this is how this country was set up on a white Christian only. Anybody else, y'all go back to Africa, go back to Mexico, go back to over there to Arabia, you know, and that's what Trump trying to tell these people. So this is This is where we at right now. And that's nothing for them to say, this is what we're gonna teach our children. To hell with y'all say. This is what we're gonna teach our children. And they've always been doing that. We're gonna teach about Columbus discovered, and we're growing up. Wait a minute, how can Columbus? We don't give a damn. We know y'all saying that. We know y'all smart enough to know that that's a lie, but that's what we're teaching our children. We know that it's a lie that they didn't benefit from slavery, but this is what we're teaching our children. We're gonna make them feel, we don't want them feeling bad. So we're gonna lie. They lie. They're gonna keep lying to each other. You hear about these grown-ass Republicans, crazy ass in the politics, they just get caught flat out lying and shit, look you in the face and lie. They're not about truth. They're not about ethics. They're not about the code of my yacht. So we fighting against some, you don't even fight that. You gotta stay on your own and be able to defend and know that you're teaching your own. Even if your children might go there, you better have some supplemental for them, just like everybody else has some supplemental for their own. They might send their kids to that shit, but on the weekends, on the evenings, they're gonna know about their culture. And we can't just be talking about it. We have to do that. Because they're not just talking, they doing, they showing us.
Yeah.
When we was watching, when they was mad about the CRT and when they found out about the homeschooling, what was going on in school, they letting us know, shit, we changing this. We don't care what y'all think. We don't care. This is what we finna do.
It's gonna be it.
Yeah, it's actions. We've been complaining about stuff. Again, the last time we got crazy was in the early 60s, 70s, when we started getting in colleges and black students start taking over them colleges and getting that Afrocentric education, and they taking that back now. We done got lenient on that. They done took affirmative action. Again, they're not playing with us. They're not playing.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But I'm just saying that. So that's why I said, King, it's up to us. It's our job now. It ain't their job no more. It's our job now, right? To step in and push that real history.
Yes.
Right? Because if you do anything less than that, man, you ain't doing your damn job, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something, that's real shit. And that's as any adult. You see what they doing, man. They're not playing. They're not playing. You see it, man. They doing it in your face, man. You see it. But the brother just said that they ain't giving a shit about what you say and do, right? But see, when we get these book reads going, and these kids start really paying, and these parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and brothers and sisters and everybody else start paying attention and start saying that, listen, man, they rewriting history in your face, King. But guess who gonna keep it? We gonna keep that history, man, and we gonna push it, right? Hey, man, but listen, man, but listen, man. All I'm saying is just wake up, family. Y'all, what y'all think? Y'all go ahead.
So just real quick, hey Gerald, look in the chat, man. I sent my name, man.
Okay.
I put my name in the chat. You know how to do that? Of course you do. Look under your name, man, and I sent my name and plug me in. Let's plug in on the book, man, and then we can communicate on Messenger and shit. Yeah, so he got to get ready to go too, and I know Eric got getting ready to hit the road, man. So,
already, I got you, Lorenzo.
Okay, yeah, plug me in, man, and then we communicate.
Yeah,
hey,
we gotta get ready to close out, man. You know what I'm saying? But so listen, man.
Eric might want to say something real quick though.
Yeah, we all gonna close out, man. I'm just saying, man, family, just man, look, it's real important, man, because y'all, man, y'all just ain't getting it, man. I don't like look, man, like I'm really trying. My daughter, she pays attention to this channel. My son, he pays attention to this channel. Right. And so they, I got grandkids. So, right. And my granddaughter has just won this. She won the one of the last book. Right. All I'm saying is this, King. I'm showing my family the real history. They're gonna always know it because I'm gonna push that, right? Just like I'm pushing it right now to you, right now, family. Just like I'm pushing it to you, I'm pushing this to them too, right? Right. I got a 9-year-old and I got a 10-year-old, man, and I push it to them, right? And them little dudes is and they sharp.
They sharp with it.
My little guys is sharp, man. Right? They sharp. And so all I'm telling y'all is this, man. Y'all better pay attention what these people doing. We live here in Florida, so it's already in effect, right? It's already in effect. It's been in effect. They just passed a law, but they've been doing this. They've been changing it, right? Because I done caught it coming to my house in homework. You feel me? And so me and my kids do homework every hey Uncle, tell them, man, me and my kids do homework every day after I get home from work. I don't get on no phone, no platform, nothing. I don't do no studying, no reading, nothing until I get done with this homework because we're gonna go through this. And so when they come with this false shit, we're gonna answer the question and we're gonna give them the history on it. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna answer the question the way the right way, the real, you know what I mean? We're gonna give you the real answer. And we're gonna explain our answer, right? Yeah, we're gonna explain it. We're gonna give you a good explanation about it, right? Guaranteed, I'm gonna put it out there for you. And if you got any questions, you know what I mean? Listen, man, feel free, call me anytime, man. I'll stop whatever I'm doing. I'm the supervisor where I work at, so I can stop anytime I get ready. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the power ass bill, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, King.
Hey, Jerry, I know you got to go, man, and they're getting ready to go, man.
Yeah,
So,
family. Just hey, so everybody, let's close out. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, no, you ain't got to. It's all good, man. You know, because this is exciting stuff, man, and we got to give some attention to it, man. And I just want to say, when Jamie mentions, you know, people just ain't getting it, he ain't talking about the people on the panel because we get it on the regular, right? So I just want to clear that part up. And you know, good show, man. Good demo. Everybody contributed really well, man. And I'm in a state of elation right now. Your boys fed your boy well, real well. So this is the type of shit I like to sit back and just pay attention to. And as you can see, I didn't make any statements. I'm a big statement maker, right? You know, because I got answers. But you guys provided me real well, and I thank you for that, right? So, you know, on the next show, you might see me turned up, right? This one provided me a full plate of food where I could shut my motherfucking mouth and eat well. So, bless you guys, man. Bless you. And the Queen Yamaya, you know, we still you know, just encouraged by your healing and your return. So you know, just keep healing up well. Eric, thank you so much. Gerald, I already hit you off, man. You know, big motherfucking ups, man. And Jennifer, thank you for showing back up. And Carrie went back into just lay down, but she's on full too. So bless you guys. Prince is going to be presenting next week. And Gerald, if you want to present something, man, dude, man, we're all for it, man. You know, 'cause I know you got that heat, and you can just take, you know, my week. You know, I got the week after the kids demo. That's always the first week, so I got the week after that, and so you can have that one, or you don't have to feel obligated. You can we can talk about all that.
Yeah, we'll end up building between.
Hey, so you wanna close out real quick?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it, man. Come back next week. Hey, review the disc. Does Jamie provide the recording? Did Jamie provide a lot of information? I think it's you know, insane to think you got it right off the tippy. If you did, you know, that's genius and all good. But review it and be sure to comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Visit us on Sankofa 180 Degrees Facebook page. Comment. You know, you're more than welcome to join the group. We encourage that, and read the mission statement, the group statement, so that you know what you're getting into and what you can provide on the group page. We do holistic stuff. We do economics. We do our cultural history. All right. So, big ups to the panel, man.
All right. And Jen, you back yet? Oh, the brother left already? Okay. Yeah. All right. Hey, okay. Hey, Eric, you want to close us out, King? You got to unmute yourself, King.
As always, man, it's always a pleasure. Anytime I can get a chance to rap with you brothers and share some information. So I'm always appreciative. Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to play with you guys and look forward to keep it going.
Sweet.
Hey, man, you have a good vacation, man. And
yeah.
The calendar is always open for you to share whenever you want to share something, man. You just hit me off and let me know. No pressure. No pressure at all. You just gotta let me know.
Hey, okay. So listen, family. Hey, we're gonna sign out, man. Again, first Sunday every month, we got the children's book read. You know what I'm saying? It's important, family. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't be the reason why your kids, man, is running around here looking crazy, man, not knowing their history, their real history, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? All right, for real, man. You gotta let them know the history, man. Gotta let them know it, man. You know what I'm saying? You'll be cheating them. You'll be really, that's child abuse. Hey, that's child abuse, man. That's child abuse, man. For real. That's child abuse. Anyway, family, hey, I love you. Peace. Like you said, like, subscribe, or dislike, and comment, right? And again, family, don't be scared to join, man. You know what I'm saying?